Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful Twitch audience. We're back. Cyberpunk is back. You haven't gotten rid of us yet. As before, I am Jonathan, your game master for Cyberpunk, Jonathan Nicky Any, and I'm very excited to get right back into it. So, first things first, let's go ahead and reintroduce ourselves here, and then we'll do a little recap before we jump right back into it. We're in episode 3 here, so we're veterans at this point. We know what the score is. I'm going to throw it over to in usual order. I'm going to throw it over here to Lee.
Hi, I'm Lee. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Beau Delarue, whose pronouns are he, any. Yeah, is that everything?
Yeah. And
my voice is going, so apologies in advance if my voice starts to yeet out.
No worries at all. The only name, handle, pronouns, and then anything you would like to share, whether it's fun fact. I know last week was whether you found $5 or not. Anything at all that you would like to share. If not, that is a-okay.
Well, I'm unlikely gamer in the chat. That's me. And I don't know how fun it is, but I crushed my phone. And in my car trunk, if technology is great until it crushes the other technology you have, because it was those auto close kind, and it detects when you're like not there, and it's like, yeah, I'm ready for it to close. I did not realize that my phone had slid in between the door and the like sensor thing or whatever, and it decided to go crunch. And while the car won, the phone did not. But the phone's still gonna work. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lee's getting a new phone soon, hopefully.
Got it. Wait, is it just the screen or like the whole phone went crunch?
So like this chunk of the phone, I guess you can't see that. This chunk of the phone got crunched, but this part of the phone works. So it's a lot of me like typing a text and then having to rotate the phone so that I can hit the send button. The worst
face there. Okay.
I can make it work until my new phone shows up. Oh no. Okay, there she is. But yeah, it's one of those things where you realize how attached to your phone you are when you can't use at least some of it. The biggest crime though is I can't play Wordle due to the fact that Wordle does not auto adjust on my phone if I turn it sideways. And the things sit right in the section that you type in. So, true, just awful things. I'm just suffering over here. It's fine.
Or went out for your streak.
Yes.
Exactly. I gave up on Wordle once upon a time when it just decided to delete my entire game history, which felt bad. So it's like, rip in peace. And as far as cars via phones, fortunately my trunk doesn't auto close, but it is able to detect when you have your keys in there, so it won't actually close if your keys are in the trunk, which is good because the trunk is smarter than I am, and on more than one occasion I have tried to close the trunk, it pops back open, like, what the hell is going on? Oh, my keys are in the bag that I just stuck in the trunk.
Yup. Or you try to lock the door and your car, like my car just kind of screams at me, and she's like, and I was like, oh, right. Yeah, thanks, car. I'm a doofus.
I get some.
We're just destroying any credibility we have for playing Cyberpunk.
This is why we do it in fantasy.
Representation.
Or more data in the single elimination bracket for which technological device is going to kill us all.
It's true.
Car beats phone. Who's up against car? Toaster? We don't know. We'll find out next time.
Fax machine. Where my money is.
Fax machine.
Fax machine. No, that's on the other side of the bracket. We'll find out how that one plays out in the finale.
Excellent. Then let's pop over. Also, hello, Lime in the chat. If that's who I think it is, good to see you. Singer remote Cyberpunk. Yeah, something like that. Next up, we've got Matthew.
Yeah.
Hi there. My name is Matthew. He, him. I am playing sehr stylisch. The Tech, auch bekannt als Opera, is his handle. and he has, as of last session, devised his long-term goal, and I think I'm actually going to multi-class him into a netrunner so that I can put my brain inside of my glorious creation, the fax machine. So we'll see how that works out. Fun, if we're doing fun facts still, today is my first day of fun employment as I start a new job in the new year. So today I got to shut down the old work laptop for the last time and get a new work laptop next year.
Ooh.
Woo woo!
Yay,
Congrats.
fun
All right.
employment. Yay. Excellent. Next up, we've got Angela.
Hey, I am Angela, she, her. I am playing Tara Trilby, aka Patch, also she, her. She's the medtech of the group. Recently reattached the arm for our driver.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, let's see. I did not crush my phone in the car. But here in Florida, it is December 12th, and it was like 80 degrees outside, which sounds great, but when it's really humid, it's not so great.
Yeah, a little different from currently 38 degrees where I am right now. A little slight difference there. But hey, you never know. Maybe the humidity will kill our, stop the uprise of the fax machines. These Chekhov's fax machines that are coming in here. And then, last but not least, we've got Ashley.
I'm Ashley, and I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm Pixie, who also goes by she, her pronouns. And what else was I supposed to say? Oh, fun fact. Well, we're expecting snow here in Colorado tonight, so Angela, I think you just need to come to Colorado and get out of that 80-degree humidity.
There you go. Problem solved. Fantastic. I just realized I did not submit a fun fact, so an extremely fun fact here that I meant to check beforehand if I've got the green light to share, but I believe the cat is out of the bag here, so let me just quickly I'm going to do a quick scan to see if it has been shared. If this is Quelmar-centric news.
Ooh.
Tell us all the secrets.
Right? We want the tea.
Okay. Well, I'll save it till the end. There's your teaser here. I'll save it for the end of the stream here, just in case, just to keep folks on the hook for the curious folks. No secrets in cyber. Oh, there are a lot of secrets in cyber. Oh, are there? I was getting some echo. Let's see if I can't fix that. I think we are back on track. There's got to be at least a little bit of technical difficulty for a Cyberpunk game, but now that that's fixed, let's go ahead and start things proper here. Before everything just goes down completely in flames. So last time on Cyberpunk Session 2. Session 1. The takeaway from Session 1, among some other things, that the cliffhanger that we found was booting up a computer system that turned out to be Friend Computer, who might be a familiar entity to those who watched the Paranoia campaign, the Get submodule that was a big Quelmar stream some time ago. In Session 2 proper, we started the scene back there underground with Friend Computer, trying to suss out what Friend Computer's motives were, whether or not they could trust Friend Computer. The answer is always yes, you can always trust Friend Computer because they're your friend. Our crew here decided to sort of split the difference here, and though they didn't completely shut the door on Friend Computer, some wariness was expressed, and so they took an aspect of Friend Computer, shall we say, and downloaded it onto their agents and its very own app, aka Billy Big Mouth Bass Friend Computer chose like potato, all of the
Billy for
monikers
short.
there. Billy for short, sure. And there was an offer of immortality from Friend Computer if you helped them troubleshoot, reestablish their connections to the other servers that had become disconnected over the roughly century that they had been offline. It's still some thought to be put into that, as well as Ember and Graph. Ember has seen better days, basically on the brink of death, but was stabilized. And Graph, who seemed more than willing to just, oh, thank you there, Lyman, for the cheer, for those bits. Thank you very much. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Cyber Days, unrelated to Cyber Monday, maybe. So with those two came from the people who try and may or may not have tried to kill you in episode 1. They were just doing a job, and they were hired by Lennox, which was the leader who kind of got pushed off a falling elevator. They are not around so much anymore. But you made your way back to Echo Center with Billy Big Mouth Bass Friend Potato Computer and Graph just sort of riding shotgun in Bo's lap, and Ember, as we said, broken ribs means that they're collapsible, so they got scrunched into the smuggling compartment. Then you made your way back to Echo Center, parked your buggy here, Bug, Pixie's car, there with Maverick, who is also one of the nomads, runs the garage there at the edge of Echo Center, and a little bit of banter there. Went back to the Neon Garden, the business place of Beau de la Rue, the face of a place of entertainment and no judgment-free zone of whatever your thing is, as long as it's not hurting anybody, and you've got the coin, aka those EBs, those Echo Bucks, then you can be catered to. But they had a meeting with the money. The gardener, aka Shaw Rosenmaker, he was the one who hired our crew here in the first place, seemed less than enthused about being handed very little in the way of tech. They did have 2 green vest suits armored, and they're not 100% sure what that may or may not be, but they did get green colored thing. Friend Computer is currently stuck in red clearance mode, apparently the bottom of the clearance modes that goes all the way up to ultraviolet. They had some green wear that they shared with the gardener as a sort of teaser. It was a tense negotiation, but he decided to pay them what he promised, and with the potential that they said they have got, you said you have potential for tech in the future. He decided to take that gamble for now, although decidedly did not promise to pay you in advance. It's more like if you've got something, we'll see what you will see, and gave you a week to respond. After that meeting, we had Patch fixed up Pixie, who may or may not have lost an arm in the elevator battle, but thankfully Pixie's arm is reattached, good as new. And I got to see a little bit of Patch's digs. They're nice, modest digs there where she and Scratch tend to hang out. Let's see, I don't think I'm forgetting much. Oh, and then, lest we forget, Opera, of course. During some of this brief glimpse into some downtime that we're about to continue on, the fax machine that they recovered from from this site, from the computer room of Friend Computer, started some very important and valuable work on that fax machine. I don't think it is the last of what we have seen of our, I know we wrote down the fully automated extermination machine, something along those lines.
Exactly.
Perfect.
They called me crazy.
Mhm.
But they'll see. They'll all see.
And the last, I really should write these recaps down so I don't ramble quite as much, but the last note that we left on in episode 2 was a ping from on Pixie's agent from Maverick. This is a couple of days past when we left off. We've got roughly a week of downtime before you've got to report in. On day 3, there was a ping on Pixie's agent from Maverick that just says, "I've got a lead." That is where we rejoined here. I'm going to throw up a little bit of music. Perfect. So before we address our teaser there, that message from Maverick, Mavrek, we've got a little bit of downtime here. We've got a week's worth. Narratively, you can address some things here depending on what this message is, or if you want to do things before your sort of deadline is up. But taken together, you do have a week of downtime. So, if someone would like to take the lead here, if there is anything specific you're going for downtime, whether that is training some skills or buying some things at the market. Thanks to Bo being a fixer here, our party has a much easier time accessing things to buy. Normally, unless you know somebody in Echo Center, it can be tough to get anything more than just the bare minimum, the basics. But Bo knows a lot of people, and you know Bo. Would someone like to jump in here?
Mine are fairly simple. If I can, get that out of the way. Is that spending some time, now that I can finally begin my life's work, now that I have an actual fax machine, I feel the crazies coming on. Maybe Zaire shows up at a Technohemian bonfire and he's got that look in his eyes again, and his friends have a little bit of an intervention. They tell him he needs to tighten a few bolts. So he spends a week upgrading his cyber arm to claim slightly less of his humanity, and the next time that his friends and allies see him, he will be ever so slightly more well-adjusted, more in touch with the the nettlesome meat part of being a human being. So I am spending a week and 500 EBs to use one of my role abilities, upgrade my cyber arm to be slightly less of a drain on my humanity.
Fantastic. Yes, it's not something that we have addressed, I believe, on the show yet, but one of the things that is key to Cyberpunk here, in general, the vibe, just the culture of Cyberpunk is living on the edge, being an edge runner. Much like the new Netflix adaptation show called Edge Runners, but that is sort of a name for the people who embrace the lifestyle of Cyberpunk. Survival, but survival with style, with flair. It's not worth doing if it is not doing with a little bit of danger and style. With that in mind, of course, we've got all of our fantastic cyber tech of having your Inspector Gadget attachments, your X-ray eyes, neon hair, what so on. For things that are a little bit more cosmetic, like said neon hair or like circuitry skin that can come with some benefits, the humanity cost is little to none. But somewhat similar-ish to a system like Call of Cthulhu, where you have your sanity meter, as it were. Cyberpunk comes with an empathy score, and tied to that is a humanity score. Based on what how you build your character, what number you give that stat in empathy, that can affect your humanity score, and the more traumatic things that you witness or go through, and the more heavily, decidedly not human cyber tech that you augment yourself with, your humanity score starts to go down. If it gets low enough, which we hadn't addressed before just because we had a lot of story to get to, but yes, Opera, as the heavily augmented Borgware tech, is definitely the closest to the edge here. There are those in the cyberpunk world who go too far, where they lose sight of their own humanity. They are just a collection of parts and see other people as such. They don't see them as people, more as things that can be upgraded or decommissioned, as it were. And that is when you go, quote unquote, cyber psycho. And that is about the most terrifying enemy that you can also run into, because they have little to no empathy and a whole lot of tech power to back up some nasty... Yeah, it's bad. It's bad for everybody involved. With a PC, it is possible, if it goes low enough, you start to experience some dissociation and then stronger signs of cyberpsychosis. And then if it gets bad enough, if you go into negative humanity, which is possible, then I am now in control of that PC until if somehow their humanity goes back to positive, control goes back. But it is a dangerous line to ride, and that is a line that Opera has decided to ride. Although, as Opera mentioned, as a tech, one of their role abilities is spending some time and money to upgrade their parts for various effects, one of which is reducing the humanity cost. Especially, yeah, for some of those Borgware upgrades there, probably a good call, because... So, remind us there, Opera, what humanity were you at, and where are you at now?
So the default value for all of your abilities is 5. I decided to have an empathy of 6, which gave me a starting humanity of 60, which would have meant that I would have actually been a pretty swell dude who kind of, was able to pick up on social cues and whatnot. At the beginning of this campaign, I had an actual humanity of 18, and because of this little augmentation, I now have 22, so I have an empathy of 2.
Good. So you said you're up to 22 right now?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
So, if you try to shake his hand, there's a long pause. Ah.
Got it. So notably, something that I will say, much like the sanity stats in Call of Cthulhu, dealing with mental illness and like losing your sanity can be some hairy ground to tread on, which is why this is something that we discussed in session 0. According to the book, empathy is 3 or greater, you're fine. If it is 2, then you have borderline dissociative disorder. Do your best to roleplay accordingly, which is where Opera is sitting now. If it is equal to 1, this empathy, you have dissociative disorder, borderline cyberpsychosis. You exhibit at least 3 traits from the Hare psychopathy checklist, which we have right here with signs of psychopathy. Psychopathy? Psychopathy. Yeah. Thank you. It's not a word I've had to say out loud quite a lot. And then if it is 0, you are undergoing cyberpsychosis. You are on the very, very razor's edge. And if you are still at 0 and your humanity goes negative, then you're mine.
For the record, Jonathan,
yes.
I did technically start the campaign with a functional empathy of 1, but this is a role-playing game, not the DSM-5, so I was not trying to lard down my role-playing with what it thinks mental illness looks like.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm going for here. It's like, so we've got some suggestions from the book. I'm definitely going to lean more towards like tasteful things rather than stereotypes as far as mental illness goes, which I trust all of us to be on board there. And honestly, I feel like with Opera's behavior so far, I think you are already in line, given some of the blasé attitude with some of the situations that have come up so far. Even though we didn't directly address it, I think that you have been in line so far.
I did see a friend get their hand blown off and saw it as an opportunity to upsell them.
Yes.
That is true.
And yes, upsell them, as well as some of the like the interactions with friend computers. Like, yeah, this is fun. Whatever, we can scrap this. Yeah, I'm not going to harp on it any longer than that. The bottom line is now Opera is that much further away from just fully losing their humanity as you lean into your art as a techno-human. There is, at its core, I believe, still some humanity there with the techno-humans, because otherwise it's just metal and technology. It is not art. There does need to be a presence behind it, and I think perhaps that is what you are trying to cling to here. Even if you're, as a whole, your faction's definitions of humanity might be a little bit different than, say, Patch's, for example. The definition is a little bit broader. Okay, so that is how you're spending your time during the week, your downtime, getting this upgrade here. Are you buying anything in addition to this upgrade?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm probably going to end up making most of my own equipment.
Fair enough. I can think of one particular thing that you are making yourself. Eventually.
10,000 ebbs. I'm 10,000 ebbs away. 10,000 ebbs in a month of downtime.
But, ooh, is that payoff going to be worth it? Very good. For other three folks, first we'll do the technical bits, whether you are, since we've got some improvement points. It is something that I believe I mentioned, I don't remember if I mentioned on stream in session 2, but after session 1, unlike other game systems, in Cyberpunk RED you get improvement points at the end of every single session, and the number corresponds with how well you did. If you finished a job, then the whole group gets a certain number of points based on how well the job was accomplished. If the job isn't finished yet at the end of the session, then each person individually, based on how they did with their own playstyle, it's actually a pretty cool system. I'm not going to jump into too far in depth here. Basically, it goes with whether you're into combat, roleplay, just the social aspect of I love playing with my friends around the table. It has different definitions of success that you can attribute those improvement points to. For just a nice, easy blanket, however, session 1, everybody got 50 improvement points, and then after session 2, finishing that job, they have some, like, I think it was overall did the job well with some very highlights there. Most of the job was accomplished. That was what I went with, which was another 50 points. So our players here have 100 improvement points total between the two sessions here that they can spend on improving their skills, or they can potentially multi-class, take a few skills from another role. They can also upgrade their own role, their role skill, ROLE for the record, not ROLL. But currently that is a little bit more expensive. Rather than like, I level up now, you incrementally improve yourself over time. If you want to bank those points to make your good things even better, great. Or you can spread out amongst another skills, which, to be fair, there are a few skills here in Cyberpunk RED. This is definitely more D&D 3.5 or Pathfinder, where it's just like, here is a very long list of skills. Which we've only touched on a few of those, but we were just discussing before the stream of there is personal grooming, wardrobe and fashion. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot of skills in here. Anywho, So you're doing that. Bo, Pixie, Patch, any purchases as far as equipment goes? We'll just kind of take it one by one. Okay.
Not for me.
I mentioned that I was like setting up the night market thing, but I am actually gonna save money for some stuff this time around. But I do have my like downtime things that I want to do, which may involve money. I'm not really sure. We'll see.
Cool. And yes, I took another look at the fixer role there. When you are everybody starts at rank 4 of their base class out of 10, 4 out of 10. For rank 5 and up fixer, they can actually put together real night markets, and they can improve the quality of goods that the crew can buy.
Gotcha.
Just by default, with you on the team, everyone has access up to expensive cost items, which is 500 EBs or below.
Cool.
When you're ranked, so I will say narratively you can do a night market, but mechanically, once you get, if you are a higher rank fixer, then you can get some.
That's when you can
cash
actually
and
really
whatnot.
start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, here's that's right. The other thing that I was going to mention, there is hustle. There's a mechanic called hustle here. It's basically like your side hustle between actual jobs. If you've got at least a week of downtime, how about that? We've got a week of downtime. You can roll a die based on your roll. How confusing am I going to make it here? Roll with 2 L's versus LE. But if y'all would like, I'm not going to force you here. I would say that Opera, you're likely not waking up, working on your arm, and then going back to sleep, so you would have time for this. We can just take care of this right now, even with potential story interruption here, Pixie, the message that you get. But if y'all would like, you can get into your hustle here, your tech hustle, med tech hustle, fixer hustle, or nomad hustle. Does anyone wish to abstain from doing a little side hustle to get themselves some pocket change?
Someone's got to pay for that fax machine.
Also, I have a question.
The
So
toner
I was thinking.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I had wanted to use my downtime, or at least part of it, I may not need all of it, to do more research on the gardener and potentially into maybe, I don't know, depending, that's sort of one line of thing, but I'm curious how everything is connected. And so I would also be interested in maybe doing more research into, I'm blanking on names. Pixie's family is the one that is gone. Yes. Okay.
Yes. The Margot family.
Into some of that. Huh?
Sure.
Yeah, I was like, sorry. I was like, everyone has 2 names in the game, and I like wrote down different ones at different times.
Yeah.
But yeah. But first and foremost, I wanted to do more research into Shaw Rosenmaker, the gardener, and his business up in the I don't know, cloud top, whatever we're calling it.
Okay. Yeah, that absolutely works for me. Here's what I'm going to give you right now, since Opera is able to do the upgrades and do probably going to side hustle here, then I'll give you choice. You can do research. You can pick 2 of the 3 between research on the gardener, research on the Margot family, and side hustle.
I think I'm gonna do research for both. I feel like that's more valuable. Knowledge is more valuable to both than like money is right now.
Okay, that works for me. Then first up, let's go ahead and I remember last time we did for trying to get, you had an okay roll before on that, and I said that you like just have moved the progress bar, the needle on getting some more info on the gardener. So if this week you're taking some more time to do so, I'm fine with doing that. So the last time I had you roll a conversation check, if memory serves, which is specifically talking to people and getting information without them being aware of it. Just getting them to reveal information, just whether they slip up on the sly, it's like, oh, I didn't mean to say that, that sort of thing. Rather than being like, where's Rachel? Not that. Okay. Then yes, go ahead and let's switch screens so we can start seeing these rolls. Shoop.
Am I doing conversation again, or should I pick a different skill?
I'm gonna say this one. Let me move this over a little bit so it's easier to see. Perfect.
I mean, I'll happily do
I'm gonna leave it to you.
conversation.
I'm gonna say you can do conversation again. The options that I gave you last time were conversation, library science, or deduction, I believe, were the options that I gave you. So yeah, that'll be up to you.
Okay,
Actually, I'm gonna say that I take that back. Since we kind of already had a conversation, a little bit of that downtime roll, I'm gonna say it needs to be a different skill. That is going to be either. Wish it would let me. Yeah, group by. There we go.
I'll do deduction. Pretty good at that. And this is for this one is for straw, you said, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I need to add my luck back. And I'm gonna there, deduction. And I'm gonna pump some luck into it because I do really want to know about him.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna save my luck for the since I've already done some research on him, I'm gonna save my luck for the Marco. Okay, so roll, no mods. Yeah. Hopefully that one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, great. So I rolled a 1, and that is when you roll a 1, it reverse explodes, I guess, or you have to roll again, and that number you add to it. And for anybody who doesn't remember from last time when this happened, people watching, obviously, I know you guys know how to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, I rolled a 1 and then a 5, but that is 7.
That is a 7, which is not great.
How did that get to 7? Oh, from a 1 and a 5.
So since you rolled that 1, that second roll it is deducted. So overall, that came out to. You can see. So we had intelligence +8, cool. Deduction +3, so it has a +11.
Right, I see. Okay, now I follow.
Yeah, 12 minus 5, 7. Yeah, quick reminder, as Bo has just said, if you roll 1, that is a crit fail, even though it's called a crit fail, even though you may not necessarily fail. Roll again, you subtract it. Same with if you roll a 10, then you roll again and add it, because you did just super well. It does not keep going after that. If you roll 1 into 1, that's actually not. It's the best that a fail can do. And then, yeah, 10 and 10 is just extraordinarily good. You're probably going to pass it if you get a double 10. But point being, with a 7.
Yeah, not as bad as it could be, but not ideal.
Okay.
So I rolled like I want to say like actually it was somewhere between like a 16 or 17 on my first one.
Yeah. It was decent. It was decent on the first one. It was like a 14 or 15. In connection with this, please roll a streetwise check for me. Little like word on the street sort of roll.
That is under social. There. Yeah.
Okay. With a 12, because you're pretty plugged in here, so this would be. Actually, no, 12 is not the best. Okay.
So, I'm guessing there's probably not much additional information I get on him this go around.
Not so much. So I'm making a particular note here.
He's a tough
Yes.
cookie to crack.
So unfortunately, with these rolls here, the progress bar, the needle on digging up some dirt on the gardener, pun intended in retrospect, is not very fruitful here. And with a 12 on streetwise, all I would say is, yeah, you just come up a little bit dry. Maybe if you try, you may be able to try it in the future. Just talk to some different folks here. See, or excuse me, with this deduction here, you're trying to connect the dots with what little information you're able to dig up before, and you are just not quite there. You've got your string board with all the bits of yarn, but not.
So
not
I think
quite
that probably
there.
makes sense then to why Bo would maybe get frustrated and be like, I want to hopefully find something on anything to have, the time be useful. So he switches over to the Margot family and is like, maybe there's something there I can find. So it's
Cool.
Narratively makes some sense. And just for funsies, because I haven't done the other option for research, which was library search. I'll try that for.
Sure. Yeah,
Unless was the family, would that count as it's the same number, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was thinking like local expert, but I don't know if that would actually quite work. It's a different description.
I would allow local expert. I would say the DV for local expert would be a little bit tougher with just what's involved here, because they do operate here around your neck of the woods, but they don't live here. They are nomads. There's no really one place where they do live. However, I would allow that. If you're going the library science route, though, that would be because they were arrested. You know that they were arrested. Something went down here, so maybe you can get your hands on like a police report or something.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll library search, and I added a point of luck to that. And gosh, please. Okay. 19. Yeah, all right, it's a 19.
That is definitely better. With a 19. Awesome. You are able to get a hold of the arrest report for the Margot family. What you see are... You see the main charge here is... making sure I'm using the correct word here. Smuggling, for sure. As well as... Oh, what's the... sedition? Yes. That's where I was looking for. You get the main charges against leveled at the Margot family are for smuggling and sedition. Weirdly, and something you do notice here in this with check that high as well, is that they are still awaiting trial. This was still pretty recent. This was within no more than a week ago that they got arrested here. This is it's somewhat unusual in that there's usually shady goings on in Echo Center. Occasionally people are just sloppy and get caught. But for someone like the Margot family to get caught, who are nomads, they know what they're doing. They have known what they've been doing for a while. So to get a whole group of them like this arrested, something had to engender that, incite that. There is something going on behind the scenes here. This is not just your run-of-the-mill bust. So along those lines, you do see a note there in the report mentioning an informant. It does not list their name.
So you said sedition. So presumably they've been going around giving speeches to incite rebellion. Is that something that like is pretty common knowledge among our group, or are these like, is that a surprise to me, or is that something that I kind of knew was happening?
Yes, that is a surprise in that most people in Echo Center only obey the Galakites' authority up in Acronia overhead as much as they have to. But these charges say that the magic shows that they were putting on are like an undercover incitement of rebellion, which is a bit of a stretch, and also, as far as you know, untrue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You would know that it's actually a cover for the smuggling, which they got that part right at least, but it is quite a stretch to go all the way to sedition against the rule of the Galakites, who are technically in charge here.
Gotcha. So the Galakites is that
Yes.
what they were supposedly inciting rebellion against?
Yes. Like the gardener is a Galakite. All the people in charge / who are both the people who run and are guests in Acronia, the big uber fancy rich vacation city floating overhead, are from New Gallic, which
Gotcha.
from Asugbo, the continent in the southeast of Quelmar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something
great.
is a little fishy here.
Awesome.
Some of these charges are valid. Like, could they have been arrested? Sure, but something still feels fishy here.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Then with that research done, we've got two for two, and Connor Reeves' place. Yep.
I also forgot. Sorry, one other thing. Just for narrative, just to make sense that I sort of did this last time, but for our downtime, I'm gonna say I've been doing a little bit of fight training with some folks at the Neon Garden, just to make sense that my brawling went up a little bit. So.
Fantastic. Yes, if you are spending any of your improvement points and want to weave it in like that, absolutely, yes. Try not only your flex, working your brain here with the streetwise, the deduction, the library search, but you are, the deduction and the library search, working your brain and blowing off some steam physically, getting trained up, because you've been in scraps before. Anyone at an Echo Center who has any sort of authority to their name has gone in scrapes here and there. But what you experienced in the elevator, seeing someone's arm come off, it's like, okay, let's brush off some of the rest here. Improve.
He's the jerk that's like doing like upside down pull-ups like while reading a book at the same time, and you're just like, how that can't be productive, and how is he doing that? He's not even sweating. I don't understand.
Except Bo is like upside down one-handed pull-ups while reading a book, and then Zare just comes like, I think I left a socket wrench in here, and picks up the whole thing, the whole like exercise thing. Like, nope, leaves.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, picks up the whole like pull-up frame with Bo still on it.
Yep.
Mwah, perfect.
Damn it, Zero, we talked about this.
Look, we both made our muscles. We just took different routes.
Oh man, you're making me blush. Get out of here.
Awesome.
Okay. Love it.
And since I have something in mind for Pixie here with the blip on your agent here, I'm gonna go to you last. So then Patch, I know we were working out some character sheet stuff beforehand. If you don't have any skill stuff to upgrade at this moment, that is okay. You can bank that for later and think about it. But for downtime activities, is there anything you'd like to do, including or besides your side hustle here? Any scenes that you'd like to have with either NPCs or part of the group here? Anything like that?
I mean, yeah, over the course of the week, aside from any side hustle, she would probably Well, she would definitely donate at least one day of that week to basically like patch up the folks who like just can't afford to exist otherwise.
Okay.
She knows like there's no money in it, but she also knows that she and her brother are usually like one bad job away from the same fate.
Sounds good.
So she would do that.
Sorry, real quick, Angela, can I get you to refresh there on Ninja, because at least
sure.
by my eye on the stream, you are frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, can hear you, just no video. That's better. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, helping patch people up who normally can't. So you are wanting to do some of this. You're wanting to do some of this pro bono.
Yeah. At least, like I said, donate at least one day of that week for doing that. The other time during the week would probably be split up between any side hustle, patching people up for actual money.
Sure.
And probably trying to spend some quality time with her brother.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, we've already established that she has a pretty extensive family network throughout the city. So I'm thinking she might also just try and put the feelers out to the more discreet members of the clan, as it were, what they might know or pick up about anything involving, say, back in the history, something involving a highly sentient computer that is very friendly to others.
Okay. I think we can roll that in with some of the pro bono work that you're doing, like just kind of essence. Oh, hey, by the way, while I'm retouching your leg, ever hear something about a supercomputer? And like, yeah, just being in contact with your contacts, putting out some feelers there. I buy that.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, let's do the easy part first. Doing a bit of that side hustle here. Roll a d6.
Okay. There we go.
A 5. So on the medtech hustle, ooh, that's one of the good ones. So in addition to the, oh, this is perfect. Okay. With this result here, I'm going to definitely roll this into the roll that you, about to make. I'm going to say roll a either conversation or persuasion check with advantage based on the result here, which I'm going to tie it all together here in a second.
Okay. And I'm guessing I just rolled twice then?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with conversation because that is empathy based and persuasion is not.
Yeah, persuasion I think is what? Cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saved the cool for Bo.
That honestly, that's fair. Bo is way cooler than I am. Okay.
And actually, I'm gonna spend 3 luck. Oh wait a minute, I'm doing it at advantage, so I don't need to.
You can still choose to put some luck into it, which is fine. Something that
okay.
I remember from rewatching the last stream is that if you do decide to pump any luck into it, first roll, go ahead and click the luck through, and then don't click the luck on the second one. Otherwise, it'll just double subtract it.
Got it. Okay.
Well, hot damn.
Should I roll again?
You can't. I mean, no reason not to.
Sure.
No reason
okay.
not to.
And this is why you always gotta crit
This
fish.
is why.
Because sometimes the even better fish eats the smaller one. It just comes in and you get this ridiculous score.
So what you're about to tell us, Jonathan, is the intelligence we get when she returns from her sold-out tour of TED Talks.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, the person. Oh, you're talking about Friend Computer? Yeah, I know all about them. No. So here's what you get off
Friend
a
Computer
34.
was inside you all along.
yeah. Oh no.
Oh yes.
We are
Hello,
all Friend Computer.
Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Jeff. Glad popping
Jeff.
in. Excited to watch VOD later. Yes. For those who need it, yep. First 2 episodes are both up on YouTube. Those VODs there. So, and this one will be no different. Okay. So the result off of that D6 is. Let me pull out the right one. 5. Did a major medical procedure for a very well-heeled client.
Okay.
So you do some pro bono work, but then, as the gardener has done so before, there are some of those in Uchronia come and like slum it down here in Echo Center because they think it's fun and adventurous versus what they usually go for. But as Echo Center is a legitimately dangerous place, and most of those people are not really equipped to handle a lot of what's going on, usually it doesn't get too grisly, but sometimes people get hurt. And it is one of those people that gets sent your way in addition to your pro bono stuff. And in addition to paying and tipping you pretty well here, I'll get to that in a second, you carefully broach the topic of this friend computer, just making some small talk conversation. And this person here, despite their injuries, overall it is far from the worst injuries that you've seen. They'll be fine. This is, let's see, they've got, it's like a minor fracture. Minor fracture in their wrist. They talk all about, getting into a scratch with some of the rough folks around here, and then based on the nature of the injury, you've seen this before, of people just either like falling or tripping and bracing themselves on the sidewalk. You're pretty sure that that's probably closer to how they sustained this injury. But as you bring up this conversation of the friend computer, there is, oh, it's right.
So many notes.
Sorry, just making a note. Cool. They're a little bit loopy from the pain meds that they insisted on that they don't really need. So when you ask about this friend computer, they wrinkle up their face. Let's go with these glasses here. Somewhat similar to what you've seen the gardener wear. What, a big fancy... I mean, there's a lot of fancy computers. You should see some of like hologram stuff they can do up there. It's wild. But I could actual talking computer? Yeah, I think I heard something about talking computer used to be here. I think it was like in the brochure or something. I didn't really believe it. It's more like a, just watch out for deadly computers or whatever, which is silly. I mean, I mean, they wouldn't actually let this happen if there was a real killer computer out there.
No.
Yeah. Besides, I mean, how does a computer kill somebody anyway? You know, it's just all like screens and stuff. Mm.
Yeah, silly. I know, right?
I'm gonna say roll a. I'm gonna say roll a human empathy or deduction check based on this information.
What was the other one? Human. What?
Human perception or deduction.
Okay. All right. Gonna go with human perception. And.
Hey. 21. You get the sense that this person's loopy. You think they may, as loopy as they are, you think they may actually be on the money as far as sort of exaggerating the... Whoop. Whoop. Hash coming through with a bedside. Yes, exactly. You agree that perhaps the danger of, like, you know, killer AI on the loose has been exaggerated just for some of the excitement, the draw of coming to Ecronia. But it does still bear some hesitation here. They seem very bent. The friend computer that you talked to seemed very bent on helping people, not killing anybody. That being said, there may be a kernel of truth that in the past there was some sort of danger tied to it. You have your current assessment before all of this was that it seems capable, just not connected, like in a position of power right now. But yeah, this is as close as you've got so far of history of this thing besides straight from it. Even if it's a little bit hazy from this loopy rich person.
Okay.
So it would seem that some of the hesitation is well warranted, but at least to these folks here, they are just not in the know for the actual history. It seems that the actual history is muddled for some reason. Okay. And yeah, that is also 200 EBs for you for this side hustle here.
Yeah.
There's a couple different results, and 200 is one of the good ones for a rank 4 medtech. None too shabby.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like 100, 200, or nothing. So.
Oh.
You done good. As far as spending time with your brother here, they Scratch, Marcus. Yes, Marcus, aka Scratch, your brother, a solo you've teamed up with before. Day one, after your previous job, mostly sleeping it off from where you saw him earlier in the Neon Garden. Day two, you're working there in the surgery suite here. This is after getting Pixie all stitched up. So you're working with some of these other things, and there is a well hung over, even after all that rest, a well hung over Marcus here. He walks in. Was there anything like specific you want to do with him, or just like spend some time? Try and reconnect.
Basically, she was just gonna spend some time, which is a fancy way of saying she was also gonna keep an eye on him.
Sure. Yeah, you get the usual bits when he's awake and wanders in. Just looks up at you with these kind of swollen, bloodshot eyes. Hey, Tara. What's up?
Marcus, just why? Why all the things? Why? Do you know how much I had to pay for you to cover your tab again?
I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on going that hard, but I'm gonna say they know how to cater to their guests. Do you have to have these surgery lights on? Because this is a lot right now. Hold on.
She'll dim the lights for him.
Thanks for that. Also, hi, Kelsey. I mean, Glazando. Excuse me. I'm trying not to dox people here. Yeah. Well, thanks. Thanks for bailing me out again.
There's something in the fridge for you.
Yeah. You notice here that this is pretty typical behavior from him. And you see the usual. It's not you I mean, he's your brother. You know him decently well. You know that this regret here is not feigned. There is a little problem of some addiction here and some other factors that he really is trying not to overindulge, but it is difficult at this stage.
Okay.
And he, comes back from the fridge, drinking some of the Cyber Gatorade there to replenish those electrolytes. So, but I mean, you were able to pay my tab. I mean, again,
kind of stumbled into something.
Oh. I mean, look,
are you here enough to get what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, yeah. Me and this pounding headache are all right here.
Did you at least give as good as you got?
What, like punching people at the garden? Nah, at least I don't.
I didn't
think
mean
so.
at the garden.
And he stops for a moment. Look, Tara, I know I've said it before. I'm trying to clean my act up. I am.
I know.
I do appreciate that you've got my back, but hell, how old am I at this point? I appreciate getting my back, but it's...
Younger than me by 3 minutes.
Right. Well, it seems that 3 minutes made all the difference. I'll make it up to you. I promise.
You know what? You're still here. In a weird way, that does make up for it. Just... don't die.
I am trying. And he sort of slumps down over to the couch, cuddling this Cyber Gatorade here. And a few minutes later, you do hear some snoring. So that is... Oh, I put this back on.
She'll turn the lights off entirely before leaving.
Cool. So that is the second day after everything. I'll say on the third day, during this week here. When you sort of come back out to your place, you do not see a Marcus, a scratch here. You do see a note, just a scribbled note on the table that says, "Out on a job, be back later." Let me put that so we have the wording. Okay. So you got the hustle, little bit of digging into friend computer, that still a little bit murky. You don't have a clear picture, but it does in fact seem that y'all are correct to assume that it is not necessarily all sunshine and rainbows. So then we pan over to Pixie. Pixie, during this week, outside of the message that you got from Maverick, any skill things, buying things, anything you or scenes that you would like to do? Anything here?
Maybe just looking into anything related to maybe anyone else who's maybe working a similar job to us, maybe who doesn't know the details that we know, but you know, in the same realm, maybe any sort of competition we might have.
I like that a lot. Go ahead and roll a streetwise check for me. See if you catch wind of anyone else maybe on a similar job. An 11. With an 11, you do not pick up any information of that sort. It's already seems to be a little under the hat, a little hush hush here. The job that you were on, whether or not anyone else is on a similar job, whether or not it's the gardener who is just hedging their bets, as he admittedly said, he's got some backups in case y'all fail or otherwise just don't get the job done. You're just not sure. Can't rule it out, but you don't get any confirmation. And do you want to do another downtime thing, or do you want to do a side hustle?
I was kind of waiting to see what Maverick told me before I decided on what I was going to do.
That works for me. So you get a ping from. Let's see, which glasses do I want to use? Sure. I only have so many glasses here. There will be some doubling up. You get that ping on your agent on day 3 from Maverick here, and it just says, "I've got a lead." You respond back, gives you time, location just outside of the garage. It is good a place as any on the outskirts of the city. Fewer prying eyes and ears. It's territory that you both know well. So hopefully this will be it would seem that he does want to try as best he can speak in private with you. And as you arrive at the garage, flags you down. Oh, little cheat for the glasses. He's got them, yep, up on these goggles up on his head. These like driver goggles here. The glass. God, the sad thing is I do have enough sunglasses in general to necessitate a glasses rack, if such a thing even exists. Despite the fact that I don't wear glasses. Waves you and hey, Pixie. Hey, sorry to sort of text you out of the blue like that. Yeah, it is canon. Texting is a verb they use. Sorry to text you out of the blue there, but I think this is something that you want to hear.
Yeah, any information you have, I'm welcome.
Yeah.
I welcome, anytime.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else around, or is it just him?
At current, it's just him. And I will ask you, it's like the nomads tend to be pretty close here as chosen family, usually more so than literal blood family. How were you kind of forthright when you talked to the told your story to the rest of the nomads as to what you experienced?
Not completely.
Okay.
I don't think she told them all of the details. She told them broad strokes because at this point she doesn't trust anybody.
Okay. Fair point. Actually, that's right. I'm reminded of something I wanted to do here. If it's all right with you, let's have a flashback scene.
Sure.
To when this went down. Yes, exactly. So, a little over a week ago, it was a time you're part of your nomad pack, your family. You are on the move constantly. There is no one place you call home other than at most your vehicles. Nomads are known for their driving. For you, the Margot family, which I would say it's up to you how much of that family is actual family, or if everybody just, that's the moniker that you chose. It's a little bit more like a drag family. Everyone's got the same last name even though they're not related. But it is time for your rounds to head back to Echo Center. It is a pretty frequent stop for you, since it is the largest settlement on the island of Kofir, and it's time for a magic show. You have an established relationship with Beau De La Rue and the Neon Garden here, but I would think for what has gone down here, your magic show was not at the Neon Garden. The Neon Garden is a little bit safer than that, like known as neutral ground. It would be absolutely wild for someone to try and pull something like to pull something like what is about to happen at the Neon Garden. So if you would like, any thoughts on where the Margot family magic show, where you were trying to put that on this day?
I think it would be like a pretty prominent place. Big audience. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I've got something in mind. There is, for lack of a better term here, the architecture is not exactly strictly one-to-one with regular city architecture, but there is, in a sense, sort of a square, like a city square towards the center here. It's got sort of a platform where one could address a crowd, and that is where, for what it's worth, the sort of main venue for any show, like Rocker Boy shows, which is another role here in Cyberpunk. Like any Rocker Boy things, or like leaders of the city, aka any Galakites who are trying to address the masses. They have not done that in a while. It didn't go well in the past. So that I think, yeah, is the best, makes the most sense for you to put on a magic show, trying to get the usual crowd there, especially there's not a lot of family-friendly stuff at all in Echo Center. So I would say that at the very least, you can rely on a crowd of some parents and some of the few kids. And it is, there's sort of like this kind of like backlot fenced-in area here, so like a empty lot there that is like the backstage area, and that is where you all are. You, your family, and notably Meta, the sort of like leader, head of family here, who is coordinating everything And yeah, so you're there along with them. You tell me what is your role there within the magic show? Are you one of the magicians? Are you supporting everyone else here? What does Pixie normally do?
Yeah, Pixie normally does transport, so she's not part of the actual show so much. I mean, she'll make an appearance here and there if needed, but she mostly gets them from point A to point B, and that often involves their transporting their more scrupulous endeavors. So she does a lot behind the scenes.
Got it. Yes, and this is far from the first time. Also, a usual cover for some of your smuggling operations. Everyone's attention is drawn to the magic show, while some other things are going down. Some other deals. So you are partially a roadie for the show, but kind of under that guise, also making sure that various goods get to where they're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So it is sort of in the midst of this where you have finished setting up the actual like stage stuff, and you're about to get ready to move the other less legal wares about to people who are willing to receive them. Everyone else is getting ready, and that you hand claps on the shoulder from Meta. Pixie, how briefly, not going to make you come up with everything, but briefly, what does Meta look like to you, like in your mind? What do you see when you picture this head of your family?
I see this very like elegant woman, just like very confident. Like she's the face of the show, so she is very charismatic, but very calm and just a very soothing presence, but knows how to put on a good show. And she's just always been there for Pixie. She's the head of the family, but also kind of Pixie's mentor, and they have a pretty close bond. She raised Pixie in a lot of ways, so Pixie really looks up to her, and is probably, I don't know if she's really a mother figure, but is who Pixie is looks to as a role model, I guess. So yeah, I know that's more personality based. If you're looking for like how she looks, I don't know.
No, that is perfect. So yes, you, in the midst of all this activity, everyone moving which way, you see this woman here, an eye at the center of the hurricane, just effortlessly coordinating both sides of this operation, getting people set up for the magic show and also making sure that everything else is in place. And this is in particular something that you have looked up to for a while, is not only the capability, but the style in which she pulls it off. Never breaks a sweat. And when she sort of catches eyes with you, well, little Pixie, how are we doing today? Looks like all the usual stuff is in order. Those additional orders, those are about ready to go, yes?
Oh yeah, you know me, I'm always on top of it. Don't have to worry about it on my end.
I know you are, that's... yeah. And again, like, kind of has that hand on your shoulder. It gives you a very warm smile. I know. That's why... that's why I've come to trust you with this sort of stuff. It should be easy peasy, in and out, no problem. Well,
That's what the guy I talked to said. He said it would be the easiest job we ever pulled off. So I'm hoping I'm right.
Yeah, it should be just fine. And with that, excuse me, one moment. You just want to make sure that our audience here is also on their toes. Gotta make sure that they're ready for the magic. Maybe warm up the crowd a little bit. And with confidence, she just calmly walks over to the side of the lot here and like peeks out the corner. And that's when you see her stop and look back. This is the first time that you have seen any like consternation or anything much more than just like a very calm demeanor or thinking demeanor. You see she like whispers a couple of things to a couple of other nomad people, and they sort of scurry about doing some business. Seeing that you clock this, she walks back over. Well, currently there's nobody out there right now. I'm wondering if maybe just some bad cross-communication lines, maybe they got the time wrong, but...
You mean we don't have an audience? That never happens.
No, it does not. Tell you what, why don't you go and check in with Maverick at the garage. Make sure we're okay, alright? Make sure you stay out of sight, just in case. I'm sure it's fine, but... yeah.
Should I come back when I'm done?
Yeah.
I don't want to just leave you here.
No, of course not. I'll send you a text. And yeah, send you a text once the show gets on its feet. I'm sure it's just fine.
Do I sense that she's nervous or that she's not being truthful?
Make a human perception check, please. There was that moment when she looked back from the lack of an audience where you saw a little break, a blip in this calm demeanor. But by the time that you finish this conversation with her, she is as smooth and as hard to read as ever. Back to her sort of that positive mask. It might just be nothing. Her calm is infectious here, so at least for now, seems best to trust her.
Okay. Well, Pixie will do what she's told.
Okay. So you leave the lot here, following her directions to stay out of sight, and not long afterward, you hear, I sure hope this isn't too loud. You hear some sirens pulling in. You are out of sight, but you are able to witness all of the usual.
This is the security force. Everyone down on the ground, hands in the air. No funny movement. No funny business.
And you, from your hiding spot, watch as you see the entirety of your family here be arrested. You are not able to... You don't hear any charges. You don't hear anything. But the fact that this was clearly planned. There was no audience. There's all these security forces here all at once. You know that someone talked, or either someone talked or someone did, that's what I'm looking for, or like someone was able to like get information, like was spying on you, like knows your operation here. This was some kind of setup. You just not sure what. Then you make your way, run back to the garage there, and you said you didn't tell everything to Maverick there, not knowing exactly who to trust, which, given the situation, is fair. we can roleplay this out if you wish, or you can just give me the gist of what you do and don't say to Maverick when you get back to the garage.
I think she would have just shared that something went wrong and they all were arrested, but she doesn't divulge details about being on a job, what the job was, who they were working for, nothing like that.
Gotcha. And understandably, Maverick seems very concerned about all this. Like, he's part of the Nomads. He is not part of your family specifically, which, for better and for worse, may, you know, you don't know for sure whether or not he's the one who blabbed, at least. But this would be like why he was not also arrested, because he was not part of your group.
Right.
Well,
does Pixie trust him?
There's no reason. There's no explicit reason not to. He's.
Okay.
You've always been on good terms with him before.
Okay.
But he. Right. Well, there's. If you need a place to crash, found a couple of bigger cars here in the garage. You can, you know, jump in a back seat in a trunk. You know, no one's gonna go looking for you in there. This is. And he like pulls out his agent and starts like trying to troubleshoot here, like in emergency mode, trying to figure out what the hell to do here, because nothing like this has ever happened much to the Nomads, at least not officially. You've been jumped by people before, sure, but nothing this official. Okay. So, flashback to present day. So we got a little taste of what went down, at least from your perspective at the magic show. You are still trying to find culprits, which is why when we flash forward to you returning to Maverick in response to this, I got a lead. As he sort of like beckons you into a side, so there's nobody else around. Right. So no, I've been carefully as I can putting out feelers everywhere. I mean, no, I'm not one of the Margos, but, well, people should know better than mess with Nomads. We all got each other's back, or at least take care not to stab each other's. And Meta was basically I know it sounds so cliche, but like a mother to us all in a sense. I mean, without her at the center of all this around Echo Center, it feels weird. So I've been digging as well. And I got a name. Hold up. Right. Oh, so that was one of the leads that you knew before. You knew that Lennox was somehow involved with what happened to your family, because one of the people that you saw, this stuck out because most of them were security forces, but you did happen to see, a couple onlookers, seemed like some rubberneckers and whatnot like that, but you recognized Lennox there at the scene. And so when you saw Lennox get on the elevator, that was far from a coincidence for you. You didn't necessarily know who they were before when you saw them at the scene, but I would say you probably scanned the crowd, make sure that you would at least remember these faces if you saw them again, and that was one of them. And so I've been doing a little bit digging myself. There's a bit of scum called Lennox, and hooked up his head recently. Not sure what happened to him, but kept following the thread from there. Apparently, he's been hired before by a guy named Jather. And Jather, which is also a familiar name, found out that Jathers is one of the Gainsaid. He's an agent of the Gainsaid. Now, I know they're not exactly big on technology, which I suppose involves cars, vehicles, but this seems a bit extreme, even for them. Also, they're usually in the business of, like, blowing things up. So to try and get people arrested seems weird. But that's what I got. I'm got everybody I know keeping all my scouts, everything, keep an eye out for this bozo. If I hear anything, you'll be first to know.
Well, I do have a little information of my own. Heard of both of those people, but Lennox is dead. Got thrown off an elevator. So don't have to worry about him.
Good riddance.
But Jather, I have no idea. So any information on him you can provide would be much appreciated.
Right. Well, best I got is, and he gives you a visual description. So if you saw him, there's like a good possibility that you would recognize him based on the description, a description that I definitely have in mind and will not make up later. But
do you know when he was last seen or where?
Well, that's the tricky thing about the Gainsaid is, I mean, respect in this one and only aspect of theirs, but they're always on the move, hard to pin down. I know that they tend to be in the outdoors, don't usually set foot in cities if they're not up to something. But I've got all our mobile scouts keep an eye out. If I had a hunch, unless they're trying to blow up the city sometime soon or get more people arrested, probably gonna find them out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
well, you're a good one, Mav.
Yeah. He gives sort of a wan smile. Yeah, I know. I try. It's only... Yeah. So are you.
Only sometimes.
He laughs at this. Well, that's a nomad for you. Good to each other and otherwise when it's convenient.
Exactly.
And yeah. Never thought I'd have to go toe to toe with Gainsaid. Those are some scary people. But I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, I know some scary people of my own, so they won't be a problem.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Okay.
You should drop by the Neon Garden sometime soon. I know Bo would love to have you.
I'm sure. I won't turn down an invitation like that. Let's see. I'll figure it out later. Yeah, it's... You know that most of the nomads have been to the Neon Garden before. Usually they're not in so deep as, say, Marcus, aka Scratch. But it's a great neutral ground for setting up some meetings, some contacts, as well as just enjoying themselves. It is easy enough to be at home enjoying themselves outside, but there are some things that Bo and the garden provide that are unique to their business. It's why they have a business to begin with. Okay. So after...
Oh, I do have like a retroactive question.
Sure thing.
In the flashback scene, were there any unusual vehicles in the garage when I went back to Maverick?
Ooh. I like this. I'm going to say... I think this is just straight perception to see if you notice something off in the garage. $15. Got it. Okay. Let's do it like this. You notice that there is one. You know the island very well. You have grown up traveling with your nomad family around the island. You know it very, very well. There is one vehicle. You're also, nomads are not necessarily only folks with vehicles. You do notice sort of an older, more beat up vehicle that has some mud on the tires that is more like an inner island sort of thing. Like they're in the jungle. That sort of mud is not in the outskirts. It's like more towards the inner island, which there's not a lot of big settlements. There are a few like here and there in the jungle. Most of those, at least most above board settlements in the jungle, are naturalists, just as you might expect, who do have to sometimes go into town for like medical supplies, things that they just can't get in the jungle. Although they try to live without cyber tech as much as possible. So, at the time, you clock it, but you're like, that could just be like a naturalist thing. But with that, I would say you point that. Do you point that out? Actually, I'll ask you. Do you point that out to Maverick?
Yeah, I guess now that he has given me that information about Lennox and Jather, I think that would be relevant.
Cool. So yeah, after he shares this information with you, you bring up this car that was there at the time at the end of the flashback scene, and he thinks about this for a moment. Well, I didn't really pay it much mind at the time, but maybe. Well, good eye as always. Tell you what, I'll have our scouts see if they can't narrow their search field a little bit, then see if there's something towards that side of the island. Yeah?
Yeah. Do you keep a log of who comes into this garage?
Officially, yeah. Rare is the day when people give us an actual name.
Yeah. Do you know what the pseudonym was?
Yes. The pseudonym that was given for that particular vehicle, he goes into his records and comes up with...
As I put Jonathan on the spot to come up with a name.
And see, this is why I've got a list of potential names.
Razzmatazz.
It is Hawk. Hawke. Huh?
Great.
Why? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Sorry, just making a note. There we go. My notepad went wild. Okay, so that is Hawk. Awesome. Great. So that was going there. Cool. So with this information here, it seems like there is a lead on this Jather person. It's a bit of a bare lead for right now, but some other nomad scouts are on the job. With that information in mind, is there that other downtime activity? Does that help make up your mind?
Yeah, I think I would like to look more into any sort of usage I can find of the pseudonym Hawk, and potentially connected to naturalists or Jather or anything like that. Anything that might seem relevant.
I like it. Are you like searching through electronic records, or just sort of getting the word on the street of, hey, have you ever done business with a guy who goes by it is a male figure, a man who goes by Hawk?
Well, would there be anybody on the street that would be connected to naturalists? Like, would that even be a thing?
Not really.
Okay. Then I would.
Sorry to like just like improv say no, but
No,
like I said,
that's
most
fine.
most of the time that they come into the city is like on a brief shopping trip. So I would actually tell you what, roll flat D10 luck roll. See if you happen to during this time catch one of these naturalists who are coming into town to shop. A 7, yeah, you do in fact, while you were sort of keep an eye out, manage a spot doing some shopping. You see them coming up with we'll say some medical supplies. Actually, I've got an idea. Is this information like what you're looking for here, like any naturalist or anything? Is this anything that you share with Patch?
Yeah, I think so because we all kind of know about these naturalists now.
Okay.
So yeah, I would share it with like everybody, I think.
Awesome. And side note, yes, I am keeping an eye on the clock. We're about to reach the end of our downtime here, and also a quick break here before we go into Act 2. But so yeah, you tell Patch a little bit about this, like looking for a naturalist, and as it so happens, Patch, during the course of this week, you have a pretty good relationship with a few of the naturalist communities because you do fall in line with like not entirely since you're here in the city, but eschewing cyber tech as you have, they do look positively on that. So oftentimes, some of these folks will come to you. And during this week, there is in fact a naturalist who goes by Vale, Vale. Vale, naturalist, contact. This is not the first time that you have done business with Vale here. Pat, you're on pretty good terms. They come in for a little bit of just some normal medicine, some cyber neosporin and cyber robitussin, things that they can't. I'd say probably more like the medicine side. They can make some salves and stuff from what they find in the jungle, but some things they just don't have access to. So you, presuming that Pixie, you tell Patch to keep an eye out. Patch, you send a quick ping over to Pixie that, hey, there's a naturalist here. And so, whoops. We come to the scene at Patch's place where Patch is there, Vale is there, and Pixie, you walk in here as well.
What happened here?
What? Oh, I mean, and they like sort of like look at themselves. What is there? Is there something that I didn't? What do you mean?
Oh, it's just the last time I was here, she reattached my arm, so I thought it was, gonna be something crazy.
No, that was just a typical Tuesday here, really.
Oh, okay.
So.
You see that this naturalist sort of like nods, eyes wide, but nods like, oh, well, good to see that your arm is, back reattached and everything. Does sort of crank their head, notes the neural input, sort of like the signs of the neural input, but overall doesn't seem to regard you with too much sort of like too much negativity here, given that they recognize the clothes of a nomad, which they are largely on good terms with. No, just fine, picking up some normal supplies for the group. They look very uncomfortable here in like indoors.
Hey, I ran into one of yours recently. Maybe you know him. His name's Jather.
Jather. I don't know any Jathers. Sorry.
Maybe he went by the name Hawk? I can't remember. I'm really bad with names, you know.
Oh, Hawk. That kind of rings a bell. I think I've heard people, mention I mean, not all naturalists know each other, but I've heard of a hawk before. What do you like? Does he owe you something, or?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
I was hoping to find him again.
Gotcha.
Do you have like his number or?
You see that they sort of crack a smile. No, I really don't have anybody's number. Not really. They could be part of a different community though. I can, when I get back, I can ask, see if anyone might know something about this hawk.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another clue for you as well. You know that, at least based on what you've been told, Jather is an agent of the Gainsaid, and apparently this hawk alias is under the guise of a naturalist. Got it. Okay. So another little breadcrumb there. I'm going to go ahead and push forward a little bit to this next bit. Then we can break and see where we go with Act 2. I was afraid that I didn't have enough prepared, but we're doing great. So towards the end of this week, it is not like the full extent of the week, so there's still a little bit of wiggle room here before the gardener expects an update. But within pretty quick succession, you do get a Pixie, you get a ping from Maverick saying, Scout spotted him. Scout spotted him. Meet up for details. And as you're heading that direction, all of you get a ping on your devices there that when you open it up, your friend computer, Big Billy Mouth Bass friend potato computer, something in that word salad, you get this notification. First off, you do have one. We talked about it last time. It's like unread messages. There, one of those unread messages, context-free quip from friend computer. You could just ask me. I'm right here. But the newest message. I was able to locate. Unsubscribe. Oh no. I was able to locate another complex. Sending location data now. And I'm gonna say right now. Actually, rather than saying meet up for details, just to make things, you probably would meet up with him narratively, but to make things a little bit more expeditious here, you do bit like a dot on a map, and the location of where Jather was spotted and this complex are relatively close to each other. And so as we go into the break here, there is good news and bad news. Good news, it seems like if you want to address both of these things, you won't have to go too far out of your way to address both. The potentially bad news is you'll need to make a decision as to which location you go to first. And to give you some time to sort of ruminate on that, let's go to our break here.
Let's just split the party.
Easy.
Yeah, what we all love here. I was, I am, aware of. We narratively split the party a little bit here as we had these individual scenes, but that's okay. We're about to come back together. Solidarity. I will see everyone back here in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Welcome back, folks, from that break. Thank you for your patience as we get things in order here. We're just, combination of me getting some potential things set up for the future and us just being friends. Okay, so let me put this music back on here. The big question right now to address. I will go ahead and make a decision for you in that whether or not, Pixie, how much of the other bit you choose to reveal to everybody else is your decision. But you do all reconvene because of this message from Friend Computer. So, Actually, I'll ask first. Pixie, do you divulge this lead to the crew?
Yes, I think I would. Just because we've run into similar information before.
Yeah. And yeah, given this, like, your run-in with the crew going down the elevator makes sense. Okay. So yeah, narratively, y'all get caught up on the relevant information here. Pixie, Pixie, you can decide whether or not you mention your family at all, or if you just frame this as connection to the people who attacked us. Your call. Although I think Patch would know because Patch was there, but
yeah, I think I would just share everything at this point.
Okay. All right. So then everybody's caught up to speed, and they're relatively close to each other. Do you want to check out a potential Gainsaid camp first, or do you want to go to this other complex first?
Where are we at on the timeline again? Like, how much time do we have to complete our job?
Decently close to the end of the week here. It's not like... I would say like... You've got like about roughly a day before like the week is up, and need some kind of tangible update. If you have, granted, you're not strictly on a job for the gardener here, but if you want any hope of being continued to be potentially being paid by him for more of this tech, just continue to get money, you're gonna have to come up with something.
Well, I have perhaps a suggestion. So all we need is a tangible update, yeah? So do we not already have that in the form of this lead that our friend computer has given to us? One. And two, if we are going to be accomplishing both of our objectives in the course of this single outing, what does the gardener care if we come back a little bit late with this tech, so long as we come back? Is he going to not pay us for the stuff that we find if we bring it back or it happens to be a little late? It sounds to me like it should be a simple matter of telling this person that we've already uncovered the second of these mysterious dungeons, we have the only means of ingress, and he should be thankful that we are being so enterprising in our spare time.
I don't think he's going to look at it the same way.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to be his style. I mean, he might still give us some money for the, for stuff, but I don't think it's gonna, I think he's gonna dock some pay, probably.
Then what do we need him for? We have friend computer now if we are going to be getting jobs. It sounds to me like either he gives us a good price, or we just sell it ourselves or use it for our own purposes, and then we ask friend computer where we can find more. Why do we need this Grey Gardens person?
Well, he is a very large investor in the Neon Garden. And so I'd rather not burn any bridges with him. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Now, if we are like, I'd also rather just not piss him off at all because he's very powerful. But yeah, no, you're right. We could risk coming back late, but he knows what we're doing. If we go there, come back, and like late or whatever, and just like don't give him anything, but then we keep going to do stuff and fiddling around in those areas, I feel like he's gonna know.
An idea occurs to me. So the operational word is tangible, yes? Well,
Yeah.
What if we whet his appetite a little bit with something he's never seen before?
What did you have in mind?
Well, where are we having this conversation? At the Neon Garden.
Oh yeah, I kind of assumed that. Sorry.
Makes sense.
Then Zare is going to just kind of lean around the bar and just grab the first gizmo that he finds, like an immersion blender or something, and then I'm going to attempt to use my roll ability to try and jury rig it into looking like something incomprehensible and fancy.
Okay.
Oof. All right.
Interesting play. Okay.
Hey, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything from tech. Let's see. So I guess
That's a bold assumption.
invention.
I think so.
Says invent an upgrade to an existing item or invent an entirely new item.
Okay.
That sounds like what I'm trying to do.
Sounds like it to me. What? So certainly visually you're trying to go, or like visually the conceit is like something incomprehensible, something new that he's never seen before. Does it do anything?
Well, I will see if I can use the vibrating mechanism of the immersion blender in order to create some kind of sonic detection device. For example, you might use as, say, a stud finder.
Are you turning my favorite immersion blender into a vibrating stud finder? Because I can do that already for free.
I have already
There it
turned
is.
several of your employees into vibrating stud finders. Thank you very much.
This is true.
So shall I roll
Sure.
Invention?
There we go.
off of
invention
basic
expertise.
tech? Jonathan,
Yes.
does that sound right?
I'm going to. Yeah, it'll be invention. So here's the other thing. Depending on how fancy you want to make this, the fancier you make it, because I see here the table for cost, DV, time, and everything.
Mhm.
Fancier you make it, the easier time you're going to have passing this off as something that he will want. But
Well,
that will
time
also
is of the essence, though, so I need to balance
that's
that.
the trade-off. Yes.
So I'm gonna try and turn an immersion blender into a sonic stud finder.
Okay.
The off-brand of Doctor Who.
Yes.
Doctor WTF.
Doctor what?
Doctor what? Huh?
All right, here we go. So this is 8 from my tech, 6 from my skill, 2 from my tech scanner, and 2 from my roll ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
And got it. 20.
20.
Not too shabby. So specifically, you saying it's only so it vibrates. Is that all it does?
When it finds a stud.
And it lights up. You know, I'm going to use like the little light bits that allow you to change it from, you know, mixed to puree to frappe. I want those to create like a little targeting reticle on the wall that will, you know, rotate around and zoom in on the stud.
Okay.
You know, like the Predator's 3-point targeting lens thing.
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards with this thing. I mean, it's a very fancy level / stud finder that you've got here. Are you leaning towards? I'm leaning towards the kind of cheap everyday compared to some of the tech that is out there, this seems pretty low in the low down here. I'm leaning towards cheap every day, or are you thinking more costly?
So the upgrade, fabricate, invent DV
Yes.
table says that a 20 gets me a premium item.
Yes, up to premium. It is so you can go up to premium. It is your choice. Let's see what time it takes me to. If you want to take a full day to make this premium item, you may. So it's cheap every day is an hour, costly is 6 hours, premium is a day.
I mean, we don't. The point is to play for time. So
Yes.
wasting time to play for time doesn't really make much sense. So let's just do it as fast as I can. Like, I'll do this while we're having a conversation. Just consider it as an option. Just.
Okay.
In the background, Bo's just like going to their like drinks board and crossing off all the drinks that required an immersion blender. Sorry, I'll just straight liquor today.
Yeah.
Wow, you have a lot
so much
of
86
creamy cocktails, I guess.
Look, an immersion blender can be used for all sorts of things. I'm just saying, it was just my.
I will make you a swizzle stick that you would die for.
Don't even begin. You don't understand the art of craft cocktails.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine for the job.
All right, so that was my shot in the dark. I'll let you guys continue to decide how we want to approach this.
So yeah, since you said you're doing this as quickly as possible, I'm gonna call this a cheap / everyday item here. Given that this is a little bit slapdash and you rolled very high, and using purely pre-existing material, I'm not going to charge you any EBs to do this. You have enough to rig this up, no problem. And so you've got this as either a lead or a backup, as like tangible, hard, like, hey, we've got something here that you're really gonna love. Okay, so you've got that in your back pocket. Let's see, invention.
And sorry if you already said this. So we have how many days left before the week is up? Just the one?
You've got at most like 24 hours.
Why don't we just go ahead and go down to this this lead we got? The last thing we didn't take us 24 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. How long will it take us to get there? Because it took a couple of days to get to the previous one.
I think it took a whole day. It did?
Yeah, it took the better part of a day to make it out to that side of the island. This is a little bit. This is closer as the crow flies, but it is a little bit in a denser part of the jungle. So it will also take likely the better part of a day to reach that area.
It's almost as if we're being challenged to choose between helping our friend and completing our other quest. It's just as though we're experiencing some kind of sadistic moral dilemma.
You can do both. It is just up to you which one you would like to pursue first. And there may or may not be something, may or may not be some consequences of that.
The dot on the map, is it on the way to the complex that we're trying to look for? Or is it like just past it? Like in our journey, like what would that look like?
Think of it as basically both a narrative and geographical fork. So you're heading that way, you'd turn right here to go to complex, turn left here to go to Gainsaid camp.
That's not helpful, Jonathan, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, after having spent some time upgrading my implants so that I can retain a little more of my own human essence, I have been reminded of a very important and very human emotion that, honestly, my dear Pixie, I cannot help but be reminded of when I look at you and I look at all we have done together. And that, of course, is the concept of revenge, which I think we should pursue on your behalf.
I appreciate that, Opera, a lot. I don't know. I mean, this job is pretty important. I have a feeling they're connected somehow, but...
To me, the more pressing matter, the one with I feel like the more concrete timeline is the job. Revenge is, well, there is some temporal issues that are important, but I feel like it's a little fuzzier.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, by the time we get to wherever this Jather is supposed to be, he could be gone. Could be a false lead. You never know.
And you know, they say the best revenge is a life well lived. If we do well with this job, we're gonna be, you know, potentially living quite well. So that's just my 2 cents, though.
This to Opera is like blowing his mind. Like, my God, you mean that the morally superior choice is the pursuit of money?
Takes
When you
notes.
phrase it like that, man, it sounds dirty. But I like dirty.
I have just invented an entire philosophy. So imagine this. What if everyone gave me all of the money and I got to make all of the choices because I'm the only one who is thinking about the long term?
No.
I should run
No.
some kind of exchange.
Nope. Nope.
Bo just sort of puts finger like right over mouth and just like no.
You are right. I have to remember that I am deeply mentally ill, and that is why I think like that.
Yeah, ooh, spicy.
Patch just kind of glances weirdly at Opera for a second when he says that.
It's okay. We will look into the fact that your character can do therapy.
Shall we, you know, get up and get on? If that's the general thought.
Okay. So to I'm putting things together here, trying to follow the conversation. So to put a point on it, yes, you're heading out. It sounds like you're headed to Complex first.
The job.
We're
First.
gonna do the main quest before the side quest.
Yes. Good way to put it.
Even though doing the main quest first may lock out the side quest.
Hard to say.
You always do the
Sorry,
companion quests.
and sorry to say here, Patch, if you will quickly refresh your ninja here, you're
Oh,
frozen on
no.
stream again. At least we can hear you. That's the important thing. I'm getting flashbacks to the very first time I streamed for Quelmar, in which it sounded great. About a 1 frame per second sort of stop motion, though, on the video. That was my fault for trying to record and stream at the same time on this computer. Okay. So you're headed out to the complex first, hopefully going to swing back by, and though one could argue that the complex is quote-unquote the main quest, but I will say the other is still an important thing. I wouldn't necessarily call one a main quest and the other a side quest. If that, or at least that is not a designation that I am putting to it. If that is, this will be, up to y'all. Okay.
The only other option we have would be to split the party, which
I'm gonna say
that sounds
no.
like no. So
well, you can, but it may.
But we might all die.
Is what I will say.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to real quick here. I'm going to find. I believe this is the outdoor music that I used before. I believe so. Okay, so you head over to the garage, pick up Bug from Maverick there, who... Is there anything you wish to say to Maverick before you leave, or just go?
No, I think we've done all we needed
Fair
to.
Enough. He nods. At least to as far as he knows, you're heading out to act on this information here. So he just nods, not much to say, just gives you big thumbs up. And actually, Yeah, he gives you double thumbs up and then thinks about it and goes in for a hug if you'll allow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he gives you a hug. All right, and just seem. I'm just really looking forward to getting to the bottom of all this. Good luck.
Appreciate the help, Mav.
Yeah, anytime. So you head out onto the trail there in Bug, which I will, to re-familiarize ourselves with Bug. Yeah, there's Bug. Pixie's car here. This is not me making decisions for you here, Pixie, but as far as so most roles, when you rank up the role, comes with just like better skills and things like that, better what you do. For nomads, if you rank up nomad, you can either upgrade your car or get access to new vehicles. Notably, there are, you can get some very fun access to some very fun vehicles down the road, but it does take, as with any rank up, takes a lot of those improvement points. Anyhow. Okay. Oh, I have to go to bed. Ooh. Yeah, good. Oh, roll. Yes. Roll the. I'm gonna roll the dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a 6. Better than average. May you have a 6 quality of sleep there, or hopefully better than that. Have a good night. Okay, going there. You see this complex here, and it is with a little assistance from friend computer. As you draw closer, you get another ping on your agents here as you open up the app.
Yes, it should be close around here. You will want to look for a rocky formation overhanging a grove of some trees here, just over there.
And as you sort of, hold up your camera on your phone so they can see, you are driving by. We're going to just drive on by it because it doesn't look like much of anything, but there is this, sort of like rocky over. A bit of note of geography. I don't think we have discussed this before, but on this island of Cove, most of it is, obviously beach, where it borders the ocean. Most of it is this kind of dense jungle here. Thankfully, you don't run into any of that fog, the fog that can pop up as it is wont to do. A bit of a difficult pattern to predict on the island, but you don't have to mess with that at this moment. At the center of the island, there is a very, very sort of like tall, rocky spire. It like almost looks like a volcano, but it does like come to a, if my lore is correct, come to a point rather than like a caldera here. So if it is volcanic, it has not been active in a very, 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 very long time. In this sort of overhang here, with some direction from friend computer, you go up to some of this like reddish rock here, and there is a very, very cleverly concealed panel there at the back there. And with you from friend computer.
If you bring me in proximity, I should be able to open up communications here. We shall see if red clearance is sufficient.
Or, perchance, I could take the first crack, so we don't need to rely on this creature gaining access to its defenses once again.
You hear nothing from friend computer. So yeah, you may try and crack it yourself. That is going to be a security tech check.
All right. So
I'm going to say this is going to be... This is going to be a tougher DV, but I'm not going to give you disadvantage because you have already, at the last complex, had some experience with this tech.
So same roll as last time. It's going to be 8 for my tech skill, 6 for the skill ranks, 2 for the tech scanner, 2 for my field expertise.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And you fail. No. 27 is outrageously good.
No.
It does take you a little bit to accomplish, but with a 27, yeah, it's less of something on your end, like on skill. It's more like this is just an old panel that has been partially exposed to the elements, so it is a little tough to get it to respond. But after some time, you're able to get it fiddled enough, and there is this sort of... You hear you are able to get it active.
There.
Please.
You can keep
present.
your thoughts to yourself, friend.
There again, no response from friend computer, but you do hear a voice as this panel powers up that says,
Please present proof of clearance.
I fish around for one of the green vests that we kept and kind of start waving it general spots in front of it until I see something go off.
Sure, yeah, there does seem to be like a little dusty scanner there. You hold up this green material here, this green suit that you found at the previous complex, and you hear a few words as it says,
Green clearance recognized. Deemed sufficient for entry. Welcome back to Delta Complex.
and there's the stone moves aside here as the sort of like whole overhang cliff face ahead of you opens up large enough, wide enough for your whole vehicle to go into.
Now that's a welcome.
Excellent.
Does it look like anybody else has been here recently?
It does not. Yeah, I'm gonna say like without any rules here, like there are like no tracks, no trails in the mud or dirt or anything, and given how much Opera, you would know this working with the panel here, there is no sign of tampering with this panel here, and given how much fiddling you had to do to get it turned on in the first place, you suspect that you are the first in some time to enter this. And you do hear a pipe up from your app.
It would seem that my previous sign of goodwill came in handy after all. Shall we proceed?
Very well.
Was it being sarcastic? Did anybody else pick up on that?
I have difficulty getting the tone. It has sort of a robotic whatever.
It's a computer.
Yeah, that's offensive. How dare
But-
you? No,
But the the words just seemed a little sarcastic, but okay.
okay.
All right, well, sassafras, I suppose we should investigate this complex.
Excellent. There is. Okay. This is bring up some music as you head on inside. Should. I believe this should be appropriate. There we go. So driving inside here, there is this tunnel that, though in a, like before there is sort of this hatch in the junkyard that you rappelled down from. This seems to be a proper entrance, not just like a kind of emergency access hatch. And this ramp goes it doesn't go like, all the way down here, but it does angle downward. So you are decently underground here. When you do then come upon some slightly larger double doors that seem to open, too small for the vehicle to go through, it would seem that this is the stop. And in fact, above this door, you do see the following. It is not a colon parentheses. There is actually like a little drawing there of a smiley face. As you see this sign read, "Welcome to Delta Complex. Happiness is mandatory."
I pout.
No.
Get shot with a laser.
And going up to this door, there is another access panel, but at this point, it would seem that this is not as tough security as the front was. Like if you're here, likely you're meant to be. So after a little bit of Fawn's work from Opera, you're able to get this door to slide open here. Good old. And beyond, you see a very sterile looking hallway here. There is one offshoot you see to the, like a door to the left, door to the right, and then what looks like an elevator at the end of the hallway. The labels on the door to the left and right, respectively, are the door on the left has a sign that says "Science Staff Only." The door on the right says Security Force Only.
Why a security force in a place where happiness is mandatory?
Gotta make sure everyone's happy, I guess. Sometimes happiness requires feeling safe.
Of course.
That's my nicer way of thinking about it anyway.
Hey, friend computer, what happens to the people that aren't happy?
For those who refuse to be happy, despite given every opportunity to do so, that is
sorry, Jonathan's brain just stopped working.
Those who do refuse happiness are traitors. Or potentially communists. Or mutants. Or all three. Regardless, they are not welcome.
Good to know.
Damn, you sound like my uncle at Christmas. Billy, we'll talk about that later. We gotta have some conversations.
I imagine friend computer doing an air horn sound.
I thought about it. Jonathan thought about it.
But no, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. So, where we want to go poke around, y'all?
Well, I am inclined to say that we begin with science, because we need technology of some kind to show to little Edie of the Grey Garden. And my expectation is that if you are not the security force, you are likely to be subjected to the security force. So perhaps we can both find something to bring back with us and our head in the science facility.
But the
Sounds
science
good to me.
force could tell us what's the most valuable tech here, what they were trying to protect.
I am an expert.
All right, then, Opera. Lead the way.
All right, you first.
Fine. And I, fold a spotlight out of my multi-tool hand and then, light the way ahead with a floodlight and begin to walk ahead.
Okay. So you're going into the door labeled science staff only?
If the group agrees.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You open that door. It is unlocked. It's easy enough to slide open there. Inside of it, it looks kind of like a locker room, changing room of some kind. And you see that there is a rack of white hazmat suits.
As a precautionary measure, should we perhaps see if there are any in our sizes?
It's not really my style, but suppose they're here for a reason.
Oh, I'm sure
Plus,
we
I'm
could
not
rock
sure.
these.
And I'm not sure this place really cares all that much about style, unfortunately.
If it wants us to be happy, it will care about whether I feel fashionable or not.
That sounds like something a communist would say. I imagine friend computer saying.
Did someone say communist?
Look, we know you're horny for the communist computer. Simmer down now.
I do not understand that statement, but...
We'll tell you when you're older.
Now, friend computer, quit stalling.
Pretty sure it's older
us
than
when-
all of us, but let's go on.
Okay. So you...
It's all about the emotional maturity.
Sure. Sounds like, we're slipping on some of these, science lab coat hazmats here. Yeah, Bo a little bit disappointed that... Ooh, yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Bo, little bit of disappointment here that your midriff is no longer exposed, but...
It's true,
So
that's
be it.
where I store my power. If it's not exposed, I do lose a little bit of my power.
Yeah.
But I do kind of take, one of the, I'm definitely wearing multiple belts. I take at least, one or two of those and do kind of, a cool, crisscross on the outside of it.
Oh, yeah.
And, at least try to, and get, my necklace and, bandana and stuff, on the kind of on the outside. At least try to jazz it up a little bit.
Oh, sure. You are absolutely able to sort of, cinch it up here so your silhouette is at least closer to what you would want.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get the, waist defining. Yeah, I mean, dress for the job you want, not the one you have. I always just got to make sure I'm ready to go at all times.
Perfect. We'll be prepared in case we encounter any radioactive drag shows.
Oh my god, that's a great idea. Filing that away.
Me too. Okay. So you're all kitted out in here. And so the remaining doors, there is the security door across the way, and then at the end of the hallway there is what looks like an elevator.
Just looking around real quick, are there any more of the green jumpsuits or any more of the color coordinated? All right, then it sounds like we've got what we came here to get.
Okay. So
Should we
elevator.
check the security force just for good measure?
I'm inclined to agree.
Okay.
Must say, the science staff was a bit of a bust.
Yeah.
I mean, well, before we do leave that room, can I just do I don't know, a Lee I feel like is metagaming maybe a tad. I don't know, not metagaming, but not playing my character. But Lee, as the player, is always suspicious of a room that looks mundane, and wants to check for secret doors or hatches or anything.
Okay.
Is there a mechanic for that?
Yeah.
Concealed or hidden stuff?
Yes. I believe that's just perception here. It's look for something hidden here.
Well, can I count it as conceal, reveal object?
Oh, yes. That's that. Again, so many skills. Sometimes I forget every single one of them. Yeah, I would buy that.
Okie doke. Let's do that. And just for extra funsies, I'm pumping my last 2 points of luck into it. A 21. Any secrety things that we maybe missed, or?
Trying to think.
It's okay if there's not. I just, wanted to be sure.
Yeah, I think here, at what like seems to be just like a straight up kind of deep. Yeah, there is not here. This is just a room with some sciencey stuff. It seems like this is where whoever was continuing on these scientists kitted up here for what you're not sure, but there is whatever work they were doing did not take place here in this room.
Okay, the room though, does it look like it was, I'm sorry if you already said this, does it look like things were kind of left neatly, like, and packed up, like, or was it left in like a way that's like in a disarray, like people were stressed or in a hurry to get out?
That's a good question. It looks pretty neat. There's obviously super thick layer of dust everywhere, but it looks mostly intact.
Okay.
No signs of a struggle.
And there's no like, and just last thing, sorry, there's no like notes or, I don't know, journals or just like anything that's like left in the pockets of these jumpsuits, anything?
I thought about saying, it's like, yeah, there's an audio tape there in the corner.
I know, right? Full Bioshock.
Let's see. Tell you what, yes, you do find in like one of the lockers here, you do find a note that seems to have been left behind there at the bottom of it. It looks like a much younger hand, some like a child of some single-digit age, and it says something. It says, "Hi, Mommy. I know you're working for Friend Computer, and it's making us all happy. But hope you come back soon so we can be happy together. Okay, bye."
No.
Good lord, bring your daughter to the dystopia factory.
I'll pocket it and just in case.
Sure.
We run across that person.
Okay.
Not that I would know who that is, I guess, but whatever.
You look like you had childish handwriting as a child. No. Okay.
Or just like somebody mentions a kid. I'll be like, somebody mentions, we happen to meet somebody down the road who mentions a kid, and I'll be like, oh, hey, is this yours?
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah, with that, I'll say this room is pretty well cleared out. It sounds like we wanted to at least check out the security station here. This door seems kind of jammed. So in this case, I'm going to say if you want to open it, this is going to be a pick lock check rather than a security tech.
Oh, the other skill I invested points in. But Jonathan, as we walk down the road towards the security area, I think I would, loosen the strap on my assault rifle.
Sure.
But I do, in fact, have pick lock. Thought I had pick lock. Maybe I didn't plug it into that thing. Let me double check on the app real quick. Because I felt, maybe I put points in stealth instead of pick lock. Sorry about this. Nope, I put points in pickpocket, not pick lock.
Oh, I have a decent pick lock, but I also did the same thing. I put it into pickpocket and more into pickpocket instead. But I'm not terrible at it.
My pick lock is 8. What is yours?
Yours is better than mine. Mine's a 5.
Can anyone do me better? Alright, I'm like looking through all of the tools on my hand, and I just end on like, alright, well, if life gives you lemons, and I like extend an egg beater, like, let's see what we can do.
Excellent. So go ahead and give that a roll, and I'm sorry to say again, Angela, if you will please refresh. Lost your feed.
Oh.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw a couple of luck points at this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16.
That's a 16.
Only had expended one more, could have hit that magical 17.
Cool. With a 16 here. Again, takes you a little... Yeah, Swiss Army opera.
But really.
Oh, whoops. Also, I just noticed that Pixie still has the broken arm.
We made the same joke at the same time on different platforms.
Hand. There we go. I've got that fixed now. Awesome. So with this pick lock, again, takes you a little while to force open. It's not the cleanest. You kind of have to wrench it open a little bit, but as it gets some space, what immediately, like, dirt, stone, rocks just come like pouring out through the gap. Whatever was in here, it seems like has collapsed.
Well, perhaps we could consult our friend and ask if it's worth the time to do a little bit of excavation.
You just like take a peek here. Like, it is like one of those, like, you know, if you've seen those videos of like people when they open their door when they are like completely snowed in and just sort of like tumbles here.
Gotcha. So it's not like big chunks of rock. It is literally like solid dirt.
Yeah, you could theoretically excavate here to get to the room beyond. It would take probably a lot of time and effort.
Well, then in that case, Opera kind of, well, I'm beat, and he pulls the now broken egg beater out of his tech hand and throws it away.
So those wires just ting, 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 echo in this empty hallway, which leaves you with this elevator.
Why is it
always gotta be?
Tomatoes.
I swear if there's more gangsters on this gosh darn elevator.
Maybe
At
when we
least
step
it's-
in, we shoot the ceiling first.
And we actually have a better understanding of how to throw grenades now.
That is true. I could also, if we just, like, side note, if we want to, like, invest in a grenade launcher, you know,
I could build one for you.
I could just buy one for us. I don't have enough immersion blenders for you to build a grenade launcher.
Yet.
Oh,
Yet.
please.
Yet.
That I could accomplish with a toaster oven, a blender, and a disco ball.
You are not allowed in our kitchen anymore.
You have to tell Sven that.
I just
Damn it.
imagine the kitchen where it says, like, do not allow in. It's just a picture of Opera there up on the wall. Okay. Heading over to this elevator here for sake of time and also not locking things behind, necessary things behind a roll. You hear Opera. This would be a basic tech here, getting this offline elevator back online. It would seem that fortunately the electronic connections have little unused lately, but are still functional. And so you're at this door slides open. As you inside, step inside a rather than freight elevator. This is a normal sized elevator here. And there is one. There is one. There are two buttons in here. One says G, a little star on it, and one says L.
Garage and lobby? Oh,
Perhaps ground
ground floor.
and lobby.
Ground floor.
yeah.
Or lower.
Or perhaps goodbye and Lenin.
Oh, goodness.
I knew it.
No,
Oh no!
just kidding. I'm gonna say for the sake of time here, you go in. If you try the G button with the star, you click it and the light immediately goes back off, indicating that this is the floor that you are currently on. So you hit the L button. Doors slide shut. And a voice pops over the speaker again.
Descending to laboratory level. Commencing decontamination.
And there is the there is a decontamination process here. You get hit with like the like UV lights and air and like all the usual lovely sci-fi decontamination, and then after that,
Decontamination complete. Now descending.
and
See, Bo, some of your employees could learn from this.
Bo's just over in the corner just doing like some beatboxing while the smoke and the UV lights are happening. It's just like,
Turning
yes.
it into a rave.
never letting good fog go to waste. I love it.
Exactly.
It descends for a while here. It's a little bit tough to tell how far down you go. You're like, once you pass that acceleration point, you're not sure whether it's just a very slow elevator or if it just is, or if it is very far down. But after a little bit of time passes, the doors open again. And rather than sort of this basically city in a cave like you saw at the other complex there in the Valley of Obsolescence, as friend computer put it, you see it almost looks like like an office built, like the interior of an office building here, where you see various hallways and doors and whatnot, but they're all behind glass windows. It is, well, a laboratory, as the voice thing here. You do see a fair amount of equipment in here, as well as you notice that there is one at the very other end of the hallway. You do see another elevator that has a sign next to it that you cannot read from here. But along the way, you do see that though there are smaller laboratories here, some look like genuine offices, there is one, what looks like a main laboratory.
Well, I suppose we could cut to the chase here. Any objections?
Let's go for
Not
it.
for me.
Well, I assume my gadget hands are in hazmat gloves, so I will not produce any gadgets from them. But I will boldly lead the way as the only especially meaty person in the party.
Yeah, that works for me. So, we're going into main lab. Cool. Here in the main lab, you see a plethora of equipment, though it is outdated. All of you can tell that it's outdated. Even Patch, like, you can tell it's like, ooh, this is kind of old. But I would say that both you and Opera can appreciate that despite its age, this is a fairly sophisticated suite of technology here. You see like spectrometers and microscopes and all sorts of equipment here, all centered around what looks like a sealed chamber there in the center. You see like these you see some like canisters on the outside of this chamber here as well, and like some desks with old computers on them as well.
There are lights and things like that. Like, clearly there's electricity to this building.
Yes, so when you if you go to try and flick on the lights here, there is a little bit of it's a little bit ornery here, but eventually, yes, there's like a little hum click, whereas, because of course it is, these fluorescent lights just flicker on and start warming up, providing this lab with a little bit more glow. So you can see. Yeah.
So does it look like, so what it sounds like it looks like anyway is the kind of lab or space where they build computer like chips for like a motherboard, where it has to be like super duper sterile and each room has its own like separate glassed in space. Is that kind of the vibe, or
Yeah.
Is it more like beakers and Bunsen burners kind of lab?
You do see some of those spaces where it's like a beakers and Bunsen burners type of lab. It seemed like some of the smaller labs seem to be dedicated to various things. Overall, this place looks like a research laboratory. But the main lab that you find yourselves in right now, there are computers on desks, but it's more like workstations. Everything seems to be arrayed around and focused on whatever this chamber is in the middle. And you do see some signage on there that says, containment chamber, warning, do not enter.
Is there anything inside it now that we can see?
There is like a little window, little hatch there. You kind of wipe it off to look inside, and it seems empty.
Perhaps friend computer would know what used to be in there.
That's a good point.
You ask.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah. Hey.
I can't believe I am consulting what amounts to a light bright was an opinion, but what used to be in this chamber?
As you make that remark, when it boots up, there is a beat before you hear a voice. Then you hear,
Unfortunately, with my previous connections unestablished, severed, I do not know what the function of this facility is. If you are able to restore my connections in the core, there should be an access elevator at the end of this section. Then I will know for sure what is going on here.
I'm not super enthused about the notion of restoring its connection to anything, but I suppose we don't have much of a choice, do we?
I mean, we could just like look around a little more to try to get some idea of what was trying to like be contained in that space. I mean, I think I would definitely be continue looking for like any notes, any just things on people's desks that just look interesting.
Perhaps I can see if any of these computers can be made to function. Perhaps I can recover an unsaved draft of a document or something that somebody was using with macro hard letter.
All right, yeah. Why don't you do that, and I'll check like there's got to be like a, with a room or space that has any sort of contamination protocol. There's generally always going to be some sort of log of people that have entered and exited, and what time. And usually as well as any sort of containment breaches that have ever happened. And it's even if the breaches are not there, usually there's at least like a cleaning staff thing that they've signed, who's cleaned when. Just looking for those kind of things to see if there's any, since it's like sensitive but unclassified information that is when paired together with other SBU information becomes classified,
Okay.
Very relatable to our audience of friends here in this room with us.
Yep. Somebody may have just had to take their yearly mandatory security briefing.
Excellent. Okay.
Can you tell I work for the government?
Your classification authority is so derivative.
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, so is that doable?
Yeah.
So one of us takes... Well, also, anybody else is welcome to help or do look for stuff, too. I'm just sort of... I'm not as good with the computers, so...
Yeah. So overall, here are some checks that off the top of my head, the four of y'all can make just check out this lab here. You can do perception, looking around for just like physical notes, things, files, folders, things like that. You can do, it would be, excuse me. I would say you can roll science, just some big kind of hypothesize like what something like this would be for. Or let's see, where is it? Or electronics tech to see if you can get into these computers here.
Okay. I'm not bad at science, so I'll roll that, I guess.
There's a reason that I chose the double point tech skill.
Not a bad skill.
Oh, never mind. Actually, that's pretty on brand for
I
me.
see everything.
Awesome.
You know, I think I could actually make my own friend computer, but better.
Oh, jeez.
Perhaps I shall call it Computadora Amigo.
Just cut to the chase and call it Cortana.
Comrade computer, very very good.
Comrade computer, yes, the antithesis. Finally, a computer that answers the question: is it okay to punch a Nazi?
The answer to that question is yes. Pixie, you were saying something?
I could roll the general perception check just to see what's in here.
And Patch, anything here?
I was going to roll science, but I think Bo took care of that.
I mean, you can also roll science. There's
I
doesn't have to be one per.
Patch, my science is feeling real shitty right now. Why don't you
Yeah. Not to mention, it makes a lot of sense. Like as a med tech, that you would arguably be the closest person to try a science check here. So, yeah.
All right. And just to hopefully make things easier.
And for folks in the audience, normally science is like you need to specify a field like biology, mathematics, physics, zoology, anthropology, chemistry, history, etc., etc., etc. But given the circumstance here, Patch here, like as a med tech, there is enough similarity to what Patch is familiar with what's going on here. There does seem to be some element of, it's similar enough that is possible to roll here. Sorry to interrupt.
We consulted our most accomplished scienticians.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. With a 10 here, Bo, on your science.
All right, I just like the Bunsen burners. It's fine.
Yeah. Just start trying to play with a Bunsen burner. Sadly, the electricity works. Sadly, there's no gas. Opera with 27. I'm going to come back to you here in a second. Pixie, you do find some notes. With your science check here, Patch, what you're able to come up with, this appears to be specifically some sort of like a chemistry setup here. There is some kind of chemistry seems to be the focus here. So what that means is for our perception and electronics tech here, first off, so you get one of the computers up and whirring as it struggles. Windows 3.1. No. Loading up DOS. Pixie at 17, you do manage to find a couple of logs here on some clipboard, some notes. But there, in both cases, seems to be some sort of code. Like it's just not written out it's not spelled out here. It is encrypted. Even the written stuff. What I'm going to say is, Patch, with your deduction of like narrowing down the field of the chemistry here, Pixie and Opera, you may make cryptography checks. I'm going to make it a little bit easier on y'all because of the science roll here.
Oh.
I'm going to add it. Never mind.
I mean, you can. You can still do it.
I was going to add luck, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Go for it.
I mean, we're coming up towards the end here, so feel free to spend luck. Okay, so with a 20 and a 14. Putting your heads together here, sort of narrowing down the field to chemistry, working it out here, we're able to sort of like crack the code. And what information you are able to deduce, it seems as if they were, whoever was here was studying the fog on the island. Just studying its nature, its origin, like what exactly is going on here. You do see things that you already knew. It seems to interfere with technology and electronics, which makes it kind of difficult to study. Putting that together, the tanks that you see on the outside of the like central containment thing, it does look empty. These tanks look empty, based on what you can tell. But it seems as if they were filled with that fog here for experimentation. And you're also able to find some of the results of their study. Specifically, they were not able to completely decipher its nature, but their conclusion is that this fog is energy leaking from a different point in time. They were not able to determine how far away in time, or in which direction, or if it is in fact even a single point in time. It seems their best hypothesis is that it is coming from a single point in time. They just don't know why or when. That's as far as they were able to get.
Time fog?
Sounds fun.
Then, if they were studying this time fog, is it possible that it was in the containment chamber? The chamber might contain time fog.
Maybe that's where everybody went. They're in a different time.
But everybody knows if you can invent time travel, you immediately destroy the world, because everybody tries to come back to the place where they invented time travel at the same time, and everything goes kaput.
Maybe they're still stuck in a different time, or maybe they're stuck on a different island, and there's like a mysterious polar bear that shows up, and then there's like a guy living in a bunker and a smoke monster.
Why specifically a polar bear?
Is this one of those things where at the end they turn out to have been dead the whole time?
You know what? I think it may have been a TV show I was watching, but I get that confused with real life sometimes.
Yeah, the camera zooms out and it's a snow globe. No,
Yeah.
a kid in front of a snow globe. I will say that other things that you're able to decipher here is, speaking of time travel, yes, that they were still working on various applications of this data here, whether time travel was possible, if something more than the fog could come through, either go through or come through. But what data is there is inconclusive on that front, and notably, at a certain date, the notes stop.
What is the date?
The date is...
Is it relevant? Exactly how long ago was it?
I won't have a day for you, but I do have a year, which is... Continue talking. I'll get you all a year here in a second.
So...
Talk amongst yourselves.
This sounds like a groundbreaking discovery. The problem is, I believe our earlier conversation, the watchword for the Grey Gardener was tangible, and neither time nor fog are especially famously tangible.
I mean, you can... I'm about to make a dumb joke. Yes, I agree. I mean, we could, in theory, put smoke in a jar, but it's difficult. Um, and even then, if I show up to my client with it's time travel farts, they're not gonna be real thrilled about it.
I don't
Like,
know that he would appreciate you blowing time smoke up his ass.
yeah, even better, even good. Mwah. Um,
Can we bring him
yeah.
these notes? Would he be happy with that?
Well,
Well,
he
also,
wanted technology. Perhaps there's some things they were working on that's some kind of containment device or anything that's even debatably a practical application of whatever this is, and perhaps that it runs off of time fumes, but suffice to say, it sounds like we're going to need to find something more concrete, because if I weren't looking at the damn thing myself, I would say this is crazy.
by the way, what year is it currently in the
Currently,
game?
currently the year is. Oh, I did have to. All right, which one of my documents has
Oh
the
wait, I
year
may have
exactly?
actually written it down. It's 304.
Proof.
Yes,
oh,
that sounds correct. So yeah, 304 CR is the year we find ourselves. It notably it does not say CR, but the year says 214.
Do we know how
Wow,
long
that
the
would have been.
fog has existed on the island? Has it always been part of the island?
As far as you know,
We don't
yeah.
know anything about that. Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a nuisance more than anything. It will. If you don't have the right mask on, it'll be an irritant, and you'll have kind of a bad day. But it doesn't seem that dangerous.
A brief question for friend computer. Friend computer, when you were active and connected to whatever systems you had access to, did you have any ability to chart the relative positions of stars and planets?
I believe I was, yes.
So if we could get you a picture of the night sky with sufficient fidelity, would you be able to tell us approximately how many solar revolutions it has been since you were deactivated?
So Jonathan's inclination of that question is yes. This is also Jonathan trying to pull on Quelmar knowledge, because I know there's definitely some significant events that change the atmosphere and the sky. There you have read stories of old history that the sky used to be red. It is now blue. Also, fun fact: Quelmar is flat. At me.
Is that your hot take, or is
It's
that
flat.
No,
No.
that is literally part of the history, is that Quelmar is flat.
Is it on the
All right,
back of a turtle?
I have just decided that Opera is a round earther.
Perfect. As far as I know, at least in this timeline, I'm going to say that yes, there is a starred sky. That would be, if you were able to restore that part of its restore some of its memory banks, it could likely make that calculation.
Excellent. Well, that could potentially be useful in the future if we want to know exactly how long it has been since Friend Computer and these mysterious experiments were contemporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least before Friend Computer said that it has been roughly a century since its last activation. That either it doesn't know exactly, or y'all just haven't asked specific year. But yes, that at this point, also for where did the last half hour go? For time reasons, I will say that for now, that is kind of the significant findings of this laboratory here. All that, again, your choice as to what to do with this information, but friend computer did indicate that that elevator at the end of the hall seems to be access to the core here at this complex.
So from these, sorry, just real quick. From these notes, we didn't get anything that would help us ascertain what was contained in the cell labeled containment.
The gas. It would seem like that was a airtight thing that they were running experiments on the fog itself, the mist, which is
Well,
what you suspect was in those tanks.
I have some bad news, Bo. We're gonna have to hang on to these suits, I think.
Gross. That's all right. Well, I do have a question for you, Billy. Why was it important for scientists this whole happiness is mandatory thing? Is that for all of everyone who worked at Delta, or is that just a building specific thing?
That is.
Does that make sense?
It is mandatory of all who live in the complexes. After all, do you not wish to be happy?
Oh, darling, I'm plenty happy. I just want to know, why it was important for scientists and security folks. But you're saying everyone in the whole complexes. So,
yes.
The one we were in prior was a Delta complex as well. The one we found you at.
It pauses for a moment and says, trying to...
You stumped the computer.
Shake the 8-ball again.
Jonathan's trying to think what friend computer would say here, how much to say.
The complex that you found me at before was a subset of the primary location, Alpha Complex.
Were folks required to be happy at Alpha Complex?
Of course.
Okay. So presumably we're looking for a Beta, Gamma, Epsilon. I would assume.
Friend computer, is this going to turn into some kind of semantic game where you outwardly define the complex more and more and more until it contains the entire world, and you become some kind of omnicidal maniac enforcing a totalitarian regime of superficial happiness?
No.
Well, I'm convinced.
Really? You are?
That was easy.
I also, and I can't believe I didn't think to do this before, Bo just takes photos of everything.
Yeah.
And basically video on my phone of everything, but on my burner phone, so that's not got any, none of my contacts are in it. It's not traced by anybody. And I'm going to go ahead and take video and pictures of just everything that we see here and go ahead and, it's encrypting it, but I forgot cyber tech term for it. Because I have that extra feature, as one of my gear things.
Yeah, the scrambler, descrambler. Yeah, you can absolutely take some evidence here and scramble it so that it is not easily accessible for sure. And sorry to say, again, Angela, need a refresh from you. Video's stuck again. If it's not OBS dropping it, it's something else. So yeah, you're definitely able to get some photo evidence here, for sure.
Do we want to open the chamber with the time fog? We're wearing hazmat suits.
And I'm all for it,
Go for it.
What's the worst that could happen? It turns into a leisure suit on us?
I do send a quick text to Iris and just say, like, hey, in the off chance that you were not able to reach me, I might be in a different time. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I just assume there's no response, probably, but...
Sorry, say that again?
I just send a text to Iris that's very nonsensical and sounds ridiculous, of just like, in the off chance that you don't hear from me for a little bit, I might be traveling in time.
Okay.
And if I were Iris, my coworker, the one who also co-owns Neon Garden, just like, presumably she would probably just assume I have taken some sort of drugs.
Yeah, you get a I mean, you're underground, but I think it's more fun to get a response. You get a ... thumbs up.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So is there like an obvious button that
I mean, there's like
opens the thing?
Like there's a bulkhead there, like turn the wheel and it can potentially open.
All right, would we like to see how this plays out?
Yippee-ki-yay, let's go.
All right, I grab it with both hands and look to the others. If we don't meet again, sorry I missed you, and then turns it and opens the door.
Okay. Okay. I love this a lot, trying to think what I want to do here.
But you've killed yourselves. No.
Yeah, and you're all dead.
Roll those new characters up. No.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what you get. Opening up, it was kind of hard to see because even though the lights are on in here, the like window you could kind of see it looked empty, but it's very reinforced here. It's hard to see clearly into this chamber. When you open it up, excuse me. Yeah. Inside this chamber here, the outside is all, well, somewhat antiquated by your terms, but still like modern stuff. You know, metal, some like hard metal, concrete, really reinforced here. On the inside, it is largely wood, like wooden floor, old style walls there, sort of like this like thatch and plaster on the inside.
Was that was anticlimactic?
They time swapped. What if it's a room from another time, and that room swapped places with the room that was here before? So like...
So I'm supposed to be excited about an even more boring room than was supposed to be here?
Yeah. And you see some like patchiness to this material as well. Like it's almost like it has been like melted or warped in places where like you see some of like a few rivets here and there, some like actual metal, but it seems like melt into this like wooden material here. You have never seen material behave like this before, and it's quite odd.
Well, there's your tangible science evidence of whatever this guy wants. Would someone like to scrape some off?
When I take pictures and video more of it, but again, I don't know that I can go back with, hey, we found this stuff, you put it together yourself, or we found more potential, but I mean, it's interesting. There's not something I can sell with this at the moment. If you catch, like, I gotta have something that he can take back to his folks upstairs with, like, that he can market and sell for money.
All else fails, we can give them friend computer.
Maybe there's something in the core if we go down the elevator more.
That's my thought. Since we didn't get a fun time travel romp, Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, to that point, yes, exactly. This is when you say can always sell potato computer. Never seen a potato sweat before.
If you help restore access to my servers here, then I can gain access to something tangible that you can give to this gardener person, much like I gave you before.
It's not going to be more jumpsuits.
I do not know what is stored here.
But you know there's something that we
Yes.
could. Okay. Let's go, Billy.
All right. I don't like it, but I guess we should go to the core.
Very good, very good. So you go to the end of the hallway. You do see a sign that reads computer core access restricted to ultraviolet only. But with a little, bump jingle, you are able to get into this elevator. After all, there's no security guards to stop you here. And there is just one other unlabeled button here. Again, just pushing forward in the interest of time, you descend this elevator. This one seems, as far as you can tell, longer than the previous elevator. But when it opens, you do see a similar room to what you discovered before, another server room, although it is a notably smaller central hub computer here. And as you enter this room here, a sort of floodlight kicks on here, and you hear this voice over the intercoms.
Intruders detected. Sufficient clearance not recognized. Deploying security measures.
And you see that there is this, there is what looks like a projector screen here from the computer flick on, and this, at first it looks like a hologram start to take form. Is this like spherical shape here? It's kind of hard to see the way that the light is refracting here. You see bits of refraction as some of this light seems to split a little bit into tendrils out of the top, though it keeps its spherical form. And what is unmistakable is right there in the center of it, there is one big eye on it that looks an awful lot like Friend Computer's eye. And that is where we are going to end for the night.
Yes,
What a
Cybertech
year.
Beholder.
What? Maybe.
I throw the potato at it.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that this happens to Opera so often that he's like, security measures? I hate when they deploy the security measures.
It's always the security measures.
It's only
Why is
the
it-
security measures. How come no abandoned technological facility ever deploys bagels and cream cheese?
Look, man, I'm just over here wondering why it's always tentacles, you know?
Well, I've been
Unfortunately,
at the
the-
Neon Garden. I know why it's always tentacles with you, Bo.
I mean, hey, look, it's really in right now. Who am I to deny a fad?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the bagels and cream
But-
cheese were in the security guard office. RIP.
Damn it, with the donuts.
Yeah, along with
Buried
the
under
donuts here.
hundreds of tons of rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Since we ran a little on the longer side, but that is at least okay. My book. We had some excellent play here today. With some big new questions here, some mysteries along the way. So, that's right. I was gonna ask James before he left the chat. Oh, well, he's already asleep by now. I'll go ahead and say it for the folks who are still here. So, I'll go ahead and do the attributions here, and then reveal that teaser that I had at the very beginning here. Before I go to the attributions here, going to throw it round the table. Anything to plug? Raise hand. Yes, Angela.
System Agnostic, this Thursday, 7 p.m. Stephen is running it. Some pretty awesome people are in it. Also, I'm in it. Come watch. End of plug.
Don't sell yourself short. Yes, as per usual, System Agnostic on Thursday with Angela here. We've got Stephen DMing that as well, and then directly after he. Oh wait, no, your video is back. Okay, haha. So yes, check that out, as well as the rather large number of Quelmar shows that are streaming on our Twitch all week. Check out our schedule here. Any other plugs? Hands raised? No. Okay, then as usual, the voice mods and the sound effects were from Tabletop Audio and VoiceMod. I believe those were the only ones I used here tonight. Yes, that is true. And as before, I have to find my sticky note. That buggy that I showed moments ago, that was from Gimme Pig on Patreon, I believe, if memory serves. It's the last one, isn't it? No. Then yeah, I believe that is correct. If nothing else, I'll have it in the notes and the VOD later. Check out what is today? Monday. On Saturday, tickets for Quelmar Con 2023 are now live on sale. If you want to hang out with nerds like us or other nerds, not us, just Quelmar nerds in general, please do check that out. That'll be in June. That'll be up here in Maryland. Yes, about 45 minutes away from the DC area. That'll be Maryland. Going to be a fantastic time. If it even remotely resembles last year's Quelmar Con, you're going to have an excellent time. Tickets are up. You can stay on site as long as those beds remain open. I have not checked yet because I need to book myself a bed as well. But yeah, do check that out. That'll be at quelmarcon.com if memory serves. Everything else you can find on quelmar.world. Follow us everywhere at the Quelmar Realm on just about all those handles. And yes. And of course, thanks to our Talsorian Games for our lovely Cyberpunk RED system. So last thing I will leave y'all with before we end for the night, that teaser. I'm going to go ahead and announce it here because it's about to become news soon enough. We are just waiting on that mail, the snail mail here for our letter to arrive, but we have received word that the Quelmar Realm is no longer just a state-recognized nonprofit. We have gotten our federally recognized 501c3. We are a nonprofit charity organization, y'all, as we bring gaming and community and people together for education and charity, donating to various charitable causes and getting people into communities, socializing with people where they would otherwise not be able to do so. That is what we're here for and what we will continue to do in the future. Woo! That was very, very exciting news. And if y'all are catching it now, great. I'm going to probably confirm with James tomorrow, make sure that is got the green light to do so. It's probably fine. If not, then I'll edit it out later. It's fine. On that
Fix it in post.
Exactly. Fix it in post, as always. That is all that I've got. So, as usual, we've got 2 out of 2 for now. One last thing to say. Yep, redeeming that roll the dice. We will see you next time on Cyberpunk. Almost forgot. 2 weeks from now. That is the 26th. No, we will not be streaming on December 26th for obvious reasons. We will return about a month from now, 4 weeks from today, on the 9th, I believe that is that Monday there. Double check.
So we're going to be staring down a metal beholder for 4 weeks.
Yeah, You just leave on that cliffhanger there for the new year. A potentially a cyber beholder. Very good. So that was the last note. We'll see you in about a month. In the meantime, keep rolling
the dice.
3 for 3.